604, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, often. One, 1-2, 1-2. How about now? Hey.
All right.
Front. Kent Strang is the managing director of Americas for Prosperity. Going to join us at 6:35 to talk about it. We'll talk Pelican Pulse poll. We'll have Moon Griffon on, George Bell from United Way, and George Bell and friends could be in later on. But right now, let's go ahead and start off with top stories and trending. The city of Baton Rouge held a ribbon cutting for the grand opening of Bally's Casino Saturday evening. Organizers said they wanted to revitalize the area with an entertainment space featuring slot machines, table games, and hotel rooms. And of course, Bally's is partnered with the Queen, which is on the other end of River Road. The event was capped off with a huge party Saturday night. A former substitute teacher arrested for indecent behavior with a juvenile at an East Baton Rouge Parish High School was arrested again on Friday after contacting the 16-year-old student, according to arrest records. 24-year-old Chloe Efron was previously arrested back on November 20th after she allegedly began an inappropriate relationship with a student on the football team, exchanging explicit photos and messages. And apparently, one arrest wasn't enough. She'd been picked back up again after allegedly picking the relationship up where it left off after being arrested on the 20th. Let's take you back to Friday. 6 people were arrested. 3 people are wanted after a fentanyl raid across East Baton Rouge, Ascension, and Livingston parishes, according to the East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office. They said they conducted controlled purchases of fentanyl, and after numerous hours of surveillance, they were able to find search warrants for locations in those in the 3 parishes I listed. Deputies seized 76 grams of fentanyl, 1 kilogram of suspected black tar heroin, over 12 grams of cocaine, 3.5 grams of crack cocaine, 1.87 ounces of methamphetamine, and a whole lot more. The Roman Catholic Diocese of Baton Rouge announced that Catholics impacted by immigration agents are not required to go to weekly mass on Sunday. The diocese released a letter on Thursday in response to the federal immigration crackdown in New Orleans. It was read at all the Catholic masses yesterday. We are going to be looking at some cold weather this week. Just a heads up, you heard our forecast a little while ago, but colder air is going to be settling in behind last night's strong cold front. So it pushed through late Sunday, clearing the region, leaving behind, leaving behind what's going to be basically nights in the 30s all week long. Or it looks like tonight will be the coldest temperature of the week. Lows will dip down to the mid 30s. After that, we'll see upper 30s or 40s as the week wears on. No, that was get your mic on, Breland.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Okay, so you gotta pot that down. So that's the top stories and trending open. You wanted just the trending part. That should be a separate button right there.
See, I'm already messing up.
No. You are already learning. That's the main thing right here.
Yes.
By the way, good morning. Welcome aboard.
Good morning. Thank you so much.
No, glad to have you in this chair. Let's go ahead and start off with just say hi. I mean, introduction to the audience. Tell us about yourself.
Okay, 15 years in radio. Started off as a board op and a producer. I guess you have to learn things all over again. It's like getting the wheels greased again. Yes. And I remember starting off in top 40. I had 3 boards I had to run. We had to do the weather. We had to do the traffic because I have Bots Pro. You know the old Bots Pro at the end.
Oh, goodness gracious!
And so we didn't crank up Adobe. It wasn't ideal, And so I had the board. I was piping in my anytime we had Bobby Novosad in top 40. That's how I got my start at KSMB.
All right.
I had to pipe them in the board. So, I've come a long way since board op. Eventually became a program director. But, and I've done many jobs, but I always come back to radio.
There you go. What's trending this morning?
All right. What's trending? Pressure is mounting for the White House to release video of the double tap strike on a suspected Venezuelan drug boat last September.
I do like the fact that everybody's just accepting this as a drug boat now. If you remember, like the first week of this controversy, it was like, wasn't even a drug boat. These were just poor fishermen. And now it seems like everybody's pivoted to where, no, they were definitely drug dealers. But you shouldn't hit them a second or third time. It's like, okay, well,
yeah,
you've already come off your main point. So,
number 2, Republican Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Marjorie.
Woo! Told 60 Minutes that the way Republicans in Congress speak about President Trump behind closed doors would shock people. And come on.
What?
I don't agree with that.
You don't?
I mean, well, never mind. He can be a fireball of a person.
Yes,
I get it.
Yeah.
But the majority of Republicans like him. Correct?
So here's the thing. With Marjorie Taylor Greene, she just left Congress in a big huff, right?
Right.
She just left Congress like just unbelievably bitter and mad at everybody in the world because she was all in on MAGA. She was all in on Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. And then when she found out there were costs in her own life as a result of that, then she just bailed. I mean, it was very much, I'm all in. Wait, it affects me? No, I'm out now. So I kind of take what she says with a grain of salt. But at the same time, though, I don't know that she has reason to lie. And what we might be finding very soon is, like you said, he could be a fireball. He could be a fire starter. He could be a very aggressive and very, he could be an offensive person. He could be an aggressive person. What I wonder is like how many people are like all in when the cameras are on and then bad mouthing him behind his back. Like that's the part that I don't know about.
Right. And maybe that's what she's alluding to.
I think that's what, yeah.
Okay. The Hollywood Foreign Press Association is scheduled to hold a news conference to announce the nominees for the 2026 Golden Globes this morning.
I can safely say I'm not going to know any of them.
Me either. They always have these these movies that are underground that nobody even hears of. Or
but like I haven't seen I haven't been to the movies in over a year. Like I can legitimately say the last time I walked into a movie theater was to watch Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
That was 5 years ago, Brian.
Was it?
I think Lilo and Stitch, the live action remake, that has to be nominated. Has to be because it broke the box office record.
See, I know none of the, I'm completely ignorant of this world. Completely.
I guess we'll find out.
Well, 612 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. We had to take a quick break, come back. We got a lot of sports to cover next. Saints posted up a win yesterday. How about it? We'll talk about it next. You probably should have come in for more than one day. That's to sit in with JP. That's yeah. So in this segment, it's going to be cuts 16 and 17, and then the Demario Davis cut that I emailed. So let's go 16, 17, Demario Davis. Okay. And then there's no cuts for LSU basketball today because well, not gonna play a whole lot of highlights when you lose by 30 for the men, and the women's cuts were terrible. They were it, they weren't the best plays of the game. It was just like I'm just gonna randomly pull a layup, and I don't know. So
Do you still read the traffic at 6:22?
yep.
Because I have to start by that. That's why I was like.
Are you ready for the Fox Business Report? Okay. Yes.
Yep, moons and one. Yep.
$6:16, about to roll over to $6:17. It's Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We've got a lot of ground to cover in sports. It might spill over into a second segment, so let's dive right in. The Saints, after getting blown out earlier in the season by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they beat Tampa yesterday. Head coach Kellen Moore says despite being eliminated from playoff contention a week ago, the team put forth a great effort to earn their third win of the season. Cut 16. So last time the Saints played the Bucks, Tyler Shuck came in relief of the benched Spencer Rattler, and has taken over as starter ever since. Yesterday afternoon, Shuck was 13 of 20 passing for 144 yards. I know that sounds low, but it was raining the whole game, so it was predominantly a ground game. And he did have one interception. However, Shuck also rushed for 55 yards, scored two of the Saints' three touchdowns. The other one was Devin Neal punched it in. Shuck said the Saints are turning the corner as a team. Now, that being said, there are still 3-10. And this is obviously a frustrating situation and a frustrating scenario, a frustrating season overall, especially for a number of veterans like Demario Davis. And that's what we're starting to see on the back end. As there is a definite feel now that Chuck is starting. Now that, well, unfortunately, Alvin Kamara is hurt, but Devin Neal's getting a lot more playing time and a lot more touches as a result of it. So, even though it's a frustrating 3-10, you're definitely starting to see who's needed for next year. What do you need going into the offseason? What do you need to draft? Who do you need to draft? Do we need to draft a quarterback? Well, so far it's looking like maybe not. Maybe Tyler Shuck is the guy. At running back, can you squeeze another season out of Alvin Kamara? Maybe, maybe not, but you can definitely rely on Devin Neal. He's been providing decent production with his touches, and the same is true of a number of other positions on the field. I tell you what, let's stay on time here. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pause on air. Time to check the Fox Business Report. When we come back, we'll, of course, you know about the college football playoff lineup, but we'll also talk a little LSU basketball on the men's and women's sides. That's next at 6:20. All right. We're going to see how far this goes in because I want to stay on time with the ice stuff with cuts 10, 11, and 12. If we have to push them back, I will to, I left 7:55 open. So. Not the most quiet it could possibly be on the roads out there, but it is pretty doggone close. You're going to see some minor volume on I-12 westbound coming in from Denham Springs. In fact, right around the Denham Springs exit. Outside of that, your interstate systems are looking great to start off your morning. Surface streets are no slouch either. There's only one accident to report. It's a hit and run that's already been pushed off the roadway. BRPD is working it from about half an hour ago. It's Airline at St. Gerard Avenue. Like I said, outside of that, we are looking good on the streets. Let's keep it that way. That's really good traffic from the Talk 173 Traffic Center. .623 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along, diving back into sports. Often spills over in a second segment here. That's what we're doing right now. Before we get back into it, though, got to remind you about the folks over at Landmark Bank. LandmarkBankLA.com is their website where you find them online. LandmarkBankLA.com. Founded in 1897 as a community bank. Today in 2025, heck, about to be 2026, they remain a community bank. They remain true to that mission, which is important, by the way, because you're talking about not just having a bank, but having a banker, banking with a neighbor, banking with someone who you see in the community, who lives in the community, who has a better feel for your wants, needs, dreams, and desires, has a better feel for where you want to be. When you sit down and talk with a banker at Landmark Bank, you are going to get someone who gets you. Whether you're talking about your personal banking or business banking, they've got you covered on both fronts. Get started at landmarkbankla.com. All right. College football playoff announced yesterday, and maybe a couple surprises. Alabama was in. Vandy was out. I think we all knew Vandy was going to be out. I think the biggest surprise, though, was Notre Dame making all the headlines by saying they're not even going to go to a bowl game. I'm going to take my ball and go home. Notre Dame did not make the cut, so they say they're not going to go play in a bowl. Okay, cool. Have fun with that. Have fun with that. Have fun with losing out on 2.5, whatever weeks of practices that you could have had for your team to start prepping for next year. You're number 11 in the country. I believe they were number 11 in the country. There's room to get better. There's room to say, well, we didn't make the cut this year. We need to be ready for next year to remove all doubt. And by throwing away a bowl game, you throw away the first inkling of being prepped for that. So, the way it breaks down in your first round, James Madison's going to take on Oregon. And James Madison coming in as a 12 seed out of the Sun Belt Conference. They have been impressive all season long. Why would I know anything about James Madison? Because they're in the Sun Belt, and my daughter goes to Southern Miss, which is also in the Sun Belt. So you tend to follow your kids' school too. Yeah, James Madison far and away the best in that conference. So you got Alabama taking on Oklahoma. That should be a monster of a game for a first round game. Tulane and Ole Miss in the my coach is going to be gone next year game. I mean, Ole Miss is already going to have an interim coach. Tulane's coach John Summerall is also on his way out going to Florida. You got Miami and Texas A&M as your last first round battle as well. Oh my goodness gracious, that's the 10-7 battle. The winner of Miami, Texas A&M gets Ohio State. So it really feels like it doesn't matter who wins that game. I mean, Ohio State, after they're one of the 4 teams to get a bye, feels like they're going to be out for blood. By the way, Tulane Ole Miss, the winner of that one gets Georgia. The winner of Alabama, Oklahoma gets Indiana. That's the matchup that I'm most looking forward to because that's the matchup. Like, Indiana went and beat Ohio State over the weekend, and that's not easy to do. In fact, nobody's done it in the last 2 years. So that is going to be a monster of a matchup. And by the way, the winner of James Madison and Oregon gets Texas Tech, who comes in as the 4 seed. So there's your playoff lineup. LSU will be going to the Texas Bowl. You may recall the last time they were in the Texas Bowl. I believe that was when John Trey Kirkland played quarterback. Wide receiver playing quarterback. How about it? So LSU not snubbing a bowl bid, as it were. Let's go ahead and move you over to basketball. Men's basketball, women's basketball, both playing yesterday. Completely different results. We'll go ahead and start with the women because you'll find the women right here on Talk 107.3 FM. They beat UNO by 60 yesterday. 126-62, your final score there. And I listened to this game with Patrick Wright on the call on the LSU Sports Radio Network. I listened to this game, and it was every bit as impressive as the final score makes it sound. Because when you think women's basketball, you think Flau'jae Johnson and Michaela Williams, right? I mean, those are your two biggest stars, Flau'jae Johnson and Michaela Williams. Well, let me tell you, Michaela had 8 points yesterday. Flau'jae had 7. Amaya Joyner had 14. Zakiya Johnson had 17. Jada Richard had 12. Grace Knox had 12. Malaysia Fulwiley had 18. And Kate Koval had 22. Kate Koval got her first 20-point game as a Tiger. This team continues to impress on so many different levels. Now, I know it's UNO. They're 0-8 on the season. But this team continues to impress on so many different levels in that you're going to see different stars every single night. And that's a big difference between this year's team and last year's team. Or previous iterations of LSU women's basketball, last year before, and so on. 126-62, your final score there. The LSU women will go on to play, I believe Louisiana Tech is the next game at the Smoothie King Center coming up this Saturday. Tip-off at 5 p.m. Coverage begins at 4:30. Meanwhile, on the men's side, not the best result out there. I'm going to stand by my take that this LSU men's team is a tournament team. But they are definitely not a deep into the tournament team. They're a first weekend tournament team. They are not a Sweet 16 level yet. And that was proven yesterday as they lose 82-58 to Texas Tech. On LSU side, I mean, normal superstars like Markel Sutton only had 7 points. Mike Nwoko was held to just 12. DJ Thomas was 13. They were the only Nwoko and Thomas were the only two to score in double figures at all. If your whole team only has 58, that stands to reason you're not going to have too many guys scoring real big. LSU moves to 8-1 on the season, but Texas Tech is a phenomenal team on both ends of the floor. Uh, First of all, from behind the 3-point line, if you're trading threes for twos, you're going to lose all day long. And Texas Tech, let me pull this box score up real quick just so I have the right number here. Texas Tech from beyond the arc yesterday was ridiculous. 48% from 3-point range. That's pretty darn incredible. So LSU takes their first loss of the season. They will regroup, they will rebound, and they will take on next SMU. That's also coming up this coming Saturday, 7:30 p.m. tip off. That game's televised on the SEC network, but of course it's also on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. All right, we have we got a break for news. We'll break for traffic, break for weather. When we come back, let's talk about affordability in America. How do we need to get across the finish line here to where we can, get back to managing our bank accounts? That's next. Here's news. Okay, now mic 3 and phone both need to be an offline. Okay, all right, and make sure that like none of the other like Your Money Now or the news pots or anything like that. Once he's on with us, because I don't need anything rolling back in his ear. Yeah, I don't know. How did he get moved over is the question. How about now? There we go. 637 Talk 1073 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We're going to have a few kinks to work through this morning, y'all. Brand new producer rolling in. So patience. Patience is all we're asking for here. She's going to knock it out of the park, no doubt. But first morning, obviously, we're gonna carry across the finish line today. Then she's gonna carry us the rest of the way. All right, here we go. Let's talk affordability and really where we're at in America right now, because this was one of the major topics of the 2024 election. And have things gotten better? Have they gotten worse? I know they haven't gotten worse, but where are we going to see the affordability topic when it comes to the 2026 midterm elections? Joining us now to talk about this from Americans for Prosperity, their managing director, Kent Strang. Kent, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing very well this morning, man. We're just plowing into the into the new year, man. We're ready to roll here for 2026 already, and I think this affordability topic is probably going to be one of the bigger topics of the midterm election year. So, give us the quick synopsis of where we've been over the last year.
Sure. Well, you saw an Axios report where Chuck Schumer claims that he's going to laser focus Democrats to talk about affordability. And I think it's important to talk about where we've been, because Chuck Schumer and Democrats have zero business lecturing Americans on affordability. I mean, under Senator Schumer's leadership, Democrats passed $5.5 trillion in new spending. That caused 40-year high inflation. That made it so the average American family paid $11,400 more just to maintain their quality of life. Mm-hmm. And if Chuck Schumer and every Senate Dem and every House Dem had their way, Americans would be bracing for the biggest tax hike in American history, because they all oppose President Trump's one big beautiful bill. And so Americans absolutely should not be fooled by the new marketing plan of the left. These are the same tired old policies that made life harder for millions of Americans, and we can't let them get away with that.
So that's where they're going to be targeted. But let's talk about what can actually be done as well. I mean, this is going to be the talking point of both sides, not just the left, because the right will have to rebut. Correct?
Well, that's 100% right. So I think it's important for the right to talk about what they've done and how they can go further to show the American people how they lower prices. One is they passed the one big beautiful bill. Well, what did that do? That made the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act permanent. So there's plenty of certainty. It doubled the standard deduction for Americans. It lowered energy. It's going to lower energy costs by expanding energy production. It delivered long-term certainty for small businesses. The corporate rate also remains the same and is permanent. Small businesses can depreciate 100% of their equipment. That allows them to grow, thrive, reinvest, hire more people, and it cut $1.5 trillion in waste. That is so important that they highlight that. We look at the difference between President Trump's energy policies and those of the Biden administration. Right now, over 30 states have sub $3 gasoline. That's a long way from the $5 gas of Joe Biden. Under Biden, home heating oil was up 70%, and electricity was up 20%. And so, but Republicans can go further. The way that they do that is they continue to focus on energy. They focus on permitting reform. Right now, it takes forever to cut through the red tape to get the permits you need. They can resolve that. It takes longer to put shovels or to get the permits than it does to put the shovels in the ground. So pass permitting reform, cut the red tape, unleash American energy abundance.
I mean, you're on in South Louisiana right now. You don't need to tell us about the want to have homegrown energy first and foremost, and then secondly, the more we unleash ourselves, the better we are at it. We're cleaner, we're more efficient, and it drives costs down. So we're the more we do it here, the better off we're going to be overall. Now, okay, controlling energy or creating more energy domestically will help keep cost of everything down just a little bit. Making tax cuts for the middle class permanent will help keep more money in our pockets. But what can be done on the outgo side? I mean, there's still so many different areas where we're still seeing the residual effects of inflation and whatnot. What can be done on that front?
Sure, inflation is still sticky, and a lot of that is because we had 9% inflation under Biden. It's 2.8, 3% right now. And when you print that amount of money that they did under the Schumer-Biden administration, it made interest rates skyrocket. Interest rates are still at 6% or so, and it makes it harder for families to buy new houses, to move out of houses, move up, to move down, to buy new cars, to invest in their businesses. And that's still a sticky part that the Trump administration and Republicans are still dealing with. Mm-hmm. I think the best way to drive down interest rates is to cut government spending, limit the amount of money that's out there from the government. And we have a $38 trillion national debt. We pay more just to service the interest on our debt than we do for our national defense. One thing that we can continue to do is to drive down the amount that Washington spends, change how we do budgeting, make Congress be more accountable in the way that we budget. And that's one way to drop those rates. But I think if we can continue to keep the money supply in check and stop spending so much money, interest rates can go down, people can flourish, people can invest in their businesses. That's probably the next step that they need to take as well.
Okay. You're walking me up to a topic here that is, I don't know if it's going to come to fruition or not. We keep hearing about, every American getting a tariff cut, every American getting a tariff check. Would it be more prudent to pay down national debt with that money than inject it back into the economy? Because if we each get a check, wouldn't that have the same net result as all the COVID checks we got?
I think you're bringing up an excellent point. And look, I give President Trump an incredible amount of credit for being creative and trying to find unique ways to put money back in Americans' pockets. And
no, I'm not hating on him for it at all. No, don't get me wrong. When he started talking about tariffs, I'm like, well, if I don't work in the industry, things are just going to cost me more. But so I think when the president started talking about tariffs, everybody's gut reaction was, what do I get out of it? Well, so right. His response is, well, I'll cut you a check. But if you zoom out, that could have some negative repercussions.
Right. And I'm with you. I agree. I think, I give him credit that he's being creative here, but I'm with you. And I'm with Leader Thune, actually, who has proposed the exact same idea to hey, if we're getting this revenue in, what if we started paying down our $38 trillion of debt? I actually do agree with that. I think that that's a good spot for us to be in. It makes us safer as a nation. It helps with national security. I'm with you. I'm with Leader Thune. I think a great first place to look is to pay down our out of control national debt.
All right, let's get to the biggest cost that we have on a regular basis, and that's healthcare. If we're going to talk about affordability, then there's no bigger elephant in the room than the Affordable Care Act and where we go, moving forward. What is it going to look like next year with what's being pitched with healthcare savings accounts?
Sure. Well, again, this is an area where the left promised us lower prices. They claimed that the Affordable Care Act or Obamacare was going to lower prices for everybody and make it easier. And it's done the complete opposite. It has skyrocketed costs. And we see that it is mainly left patients on the sideline and enriched big insurance and bureaucrats who shouldn't be making healthcare decisions. Right now, what they have to figure out is, are they going to extend these subsidies? And well, why do you need a taxpayer subsidy? You need a taxpayer subsidy because the product that the government is delivering is completely unaffordable. And so continuing to subsidize the problem with tax dollars is not the solution. We should let those subsidies die. But I think that there's an opportunity for Americans to change the way that we look at healthcare. We think that one of those is by a massive expansion of health savings accounts, where we can take those resources or potentially those tax dollars, put it in a health savings account, and let Americans have more control over their health care, where they can purchase qualified products. They can directly pay for services at the doctor. And then that way, we're not making the insurance the middleman. We're not propping up a broken system with more and more subsidies. But we absolutely have to get healthcare costs under control, because you're right, it is a huge portion of what Americans pay for. But continuing to subsidize a broken product is not going to be the answer. We need to get more personal options in healthcare so Americans can get back to a patient-doctor relationship and not insurance company bureaucrat relationship that we have now.
So the expansion of the HSA, which I fully believe is scalable, I really, really do. How do we make it sell on paper to where we could just show the numbers?
Sure. I think that's a great point, that selling the policy sometimes is more important. But I think right now, the way that you sell it is, right now what's happening is the money is taking the government is taking the money and they're essentially giving it to insurance companies. What if they gave it directly to people? I think that's a pretty good selling point, because I feel like I know how to handle my healthcare and my family's healthcare a little bit better than the government. I think everybody feels that way. And then you can look at that balance. You can see how much you have. You can start having those conversations with your provider to make that more affordable. And again, if anytime you put the power back in the people and not the power in the government or big insurance, I think we're always going to have better outcomes because Americans can just do it better and they have a vested interest in doing it better. And so I'd like to see more personal options in healthcare and us to be able to make our own decisions.
Yeah, it feels like it's the right call because the more the consumer is involved in the decision making process, the more you have competition. The more you have competition,
Right.
the more you're going to see a lower rate. That is true in every market out there. I don't know why healthcare would be any different. And we've seen the inverse of that, not just with healthcare, but anytime the government removes the consumer from the equation, cost goes through the roof. Just look at college tuition.
Yeah, great example.
Yeah, it's just we're seeing the same thing on, it's would hospitals be charging us like $100 for a Tylenol if we were actually in control of where our money went, as opposed to it all gets lumped into the bill that goes to the insurance company?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many reforms that they can make to do that. And then there are simple reforms, even with how much the government reimburses hospitals based on where they are. Sometimes for that Tylenol that you talked about, in one state, it could be $100. In another state, it could be $50. And so even if they were just to standardize that, they could save billions of dollars. There are so many common sense reforms that we can make in healthcare that frankly shouldn't be controversial for the left or the right, that we could make. It's called site neutral payments where, hey, we just going to standardize how much that Tylenol costs so we don't have the big swings and price differences between, say, Louisiana or Illinois. That would be one place to start that you would think anybody would support because it saves taxpayers billions of dollars.
Right there with you. He's Ken Strang from Americans for Prosperity. Man, not the end of the conversation, but the end of this segment. We're going to talk real soon, man. As 2026 rolls around, it's important to keep the conversation rolling. Thank you so much for a couple minutes this morning.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Always. We'll talk soon. Ken Strang, the managing director of Americans for Prosperity. Hey, we got Your Money Now coming up in just a second. After Your Money Now, we'll take a break, come back. New little segment we're going to try out here called Moral Dilemma Monday, coming your way right after we check Your Money Now and take our break. I do want to remind you that not too late, y'all. You can still get in. Talk 107.3 and Duplessis Pool Builders are giving away a dream pool. Every $25 donation supports dreams come true, granting wishes for Louisiana kids with life-threatening illnesses, and you get entered to win. Donate $100, you get 5 entries. You do it now at talk1073.com. Yeah. Well, there's an urban myth, an urban legend, as it were. There's a rumor about me, and it's completely not true. But it goes like this. My former co-host quit radio all completely. That part's true. He did quit. No, we got still the spot to run. He did quit radio to go sell retirements. He works for the Presley Group now. Matt Kennedy, the guy who trained me, the guy who brought me over from Clear Channel to over here. And there's the story on the internet. Is it not? Why is it? Yeah, go to break. Where's the spot? What do you mean no ads? Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, it's a 60-second. We're gonna be back a minute early. But it's a 60-second report and a 60-second spot on the back end. You let them both run. So, all right. It'll happen again at 7:50 and then again at 8:50. Anyway, the internet rumor is that like we got into an argument on the air one morning and I punched him in the throat and that's why he quit. Yeah. Why use it? It didn't happen.
Oh, okay. I'm like, damn, bro. So what is this B and A? I should know this, but I've never seen this crap before in my life.
What do you mean? No, you don't ever. The only time you're going to need to touch those is on Thursday when I'm on location and Mike 2 flips over to the other side to go to the Comrex. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
One, two.
654 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Gonna get you caught up with ABC News coming up at the top of the hour. Before we do that, though, I want to introduce a new segment here. We don't have imaging on it or anything. We're just kind of test driving this on a Monday morning. See if it's something we want to add to the lineup over here. Calling it Moral Dilemma Monday. Brie Lynn, you got your mic on? You're ready to roll?
Ready
All right,
to roll.
cool.
I'm ready to roll.
So here's the premise: is like every Monday. There's no right answer, no wrong answer here. It's just every Monday.
What would you do?
Yeah, what would you do in this scenario? In any given scenario, and we're gonna start this off with something that's been it's holiday season, so a lot of people have deliveries coming to the house, right?
Right.
Porch Pirates are out in full.
Especially in Terra.
Oh, are they now?
Yes.
Because they're out in Sherwood too.
Yep.
And I went all full, Sherwood Crime Prevention District on somebody the other day, taking pictures and sending it to the P3 app. No, I saw one happen.
In Ned's store? You went on Ned's store?
No. The Crime Stoppers, the P3 app. Yeah. So Porch Pirates are everywhere. What we're seeing a lot more on social media is people booby trapping the Porch Pirates with the paint bombs, the glitter bombs, the poop bombs, as it were. So, Moral Dilemma Monday. Is glitter bombing or booby trapping a porch pirate a good idea? Yes or no? Start giving your comments on Facebook Live right now. Brie Lynn, give me your take.
I would say yeah, because my thing is, if I'm paying my hard-earned money, no, absolutely not. And I'm with you. Like, I have a German Shepherd, so I would go in the backyard, and I know it's gross, but like, just leave it on the front porch. So you don't know what package you're going to get, and I wouldn't feel bad about it at all.
But that's not exploding.
No,
I'm talking about the things that like explode, the dye pack all over everybody and whatnot. Right. Would you go that route?
I don't know if I would go that route. That's my thing. Yeah, you're making me mad, but I can't just have something explode in your face like that.
And I don't know how many of these videos are AI and how many of them are real. I mean, that's AI is that good right now.
It's all over my TikTok right now.
Same. But like, here's the part I can't get past, okay? I would be all in favor of booby trapping for porch pirates except the porch pirate knows where you live.
That's true.
If I'm going to booby trap a porch pirate, what would stop them from just escalating the battle and hurling a brick through my window?
Right. And coming in the back door or something to be crazy.
Now, I don't know where they live. They know where I live. So I'm all in favor of it just from the petty level, but the continued retribution level, I think there would be repercussions.
I think so too. I didn't even think about it from that side. Facebook's lighting up right now, Brian.
I know. Leanne says, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I'm right there with you.
Amen.
See, we're all in on the petty to start off. I'm there on the petty. It's just, you can't guarantee that there won't be some, and I don't care, like, if they were, I'm going to sue you or whatever. I don't care about that.
Well, but hey, can they? Because they're coming on my property.
Well, yeah, but somebody gets hurt on your property, you're liable.
That's true.
Yeah.
Come on.
So, man, I don't know. They look great on social media. They absolutely look great on social media. But, man, in real life, life goes on after the TikTok video is over with.
Right.
And I would have to think that, like, if someone disregards the law enough to walk on your property and steal your packages, they will disregard the law enough to do something much, much worse to you.
Right. To throw a brick in the window, maybe set arson on the property, something.
Right.
They won't care.
I don't know. Let's see if we get any other comments coming on us. See, everybody agrees, though. Yeah. Everybody's on board with the booby trap and the porch pirates.
Baton Rouge, though, I don't know. I think I would, but I'm with you. It would take one person to come back and throw that brick through my window.
Right. Which is going to be much, much worse than...
And I have kids.
Right. Yeah.
It'd be different because as a single woman, I'd say fire it off. Because I got a 9mm near my bed. I'm good.
Yeah.
But I got my boys.
Right.
You know?
And that's why it's called Moral Dilemma Monday.
Right. What would you do, Brian? You're torn.
Yeah, I am torn. I'm leaning towards the side of just walking away. If I'm ordering, so first of all, I don't send packages to the house. I send them here because there's somebody at the front desk here. So, but like,
smart man.
I know, but we're not going to like put all the Christmas shopping on Miss Judy at the front desk, right? That's impossible. So,
Leanne says that's why I have cameras surrounding my property. True, with the blank camera, and
so if they escalate, you've got it on film.
There you go.
That's safe. All right, that's Moral Dilemma Monday. We'll run that back out again next Monday. In the meanwhile, here comes news. The ID didn't play?
Not yet.
The ID didn't play?
Nope, not yet. So they have these jelly bellies, like vomit, something, I would like, like the gross jelly belly. I will put them on up. Go ahead. So at Cumulus in Lafayette, Wayne, he was our GM. He smoked so much. He didn't know. He didn't know. He's like, man, these are good. I'm like, you just have vomit. He didn't know because he smoked like a train.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Seriously.
Okay.
No, the
how many producers have I had? Okay, that's a good question.
Say. Brian's over here tallying away, y'all. Now I'm curious. I would be the 18th.
No, you are the 5th.
Oh, shoot.
I know. But it's worth noting that
I know, y'all.
I don't roll through producers because I roll through producers. I roll through producers because they go on to bigger and better things. So
I would like to think that as a compliment. You kind of, what is that? The bird in the nest. And then when the bird gets
it's like when you see a coaching tree, right?
Yeah.
Like Nick Saban's assistant coaches go on to be head coaches, right? My producers go on to be full-time employees here.
Yeah.
So it started with Taylor.
Taylor's
full-time here.
He was your first one?
Yes. Taylor was my first producer.
I didn't know that. He's still here, y'all. He's just on ESPN 104.5.
I know. And then we had Hot Take Jake.
He was very brief, huh?
Yeah. He's gone on to do other things. He was. This was not his world. 6 a.m. was not his world, to be sure.
See, I don't mind it. To me, I was like running through my new schedule, 5 a.m. to 1.
Yeah.
I can go get the boys from school. I
Right.
get a quality of life back. Now, radio, we don't know when we're going to get out of here some days. But for the most part, if I can help it, I can have my life back. Hot Take Jake. After Hot Take Jake, it was Alondra.
Alondra, who is now full-time as well.
Yeah. And then JP.
JP, who, honestly, he pulled the plug too soon. He did. He did. He was on his way.
He was torn, y'all.
I know.
We're not going to go there, but he actually wanted to pull back his 2 weeks. It's a whole,
I know.
We love you, JP.
But
if you're listening.
then you're walking in as part of an overall job, though. Like, this is not all you do here.
No.
So I think it's going to be a different dynamic.
Yeah, Facebook. I'm also on air on our sister station, Tiger 100.7. So yeah, I agree.
Okay, I'm way behind on live reads because I wanted to keep that first hour on time.
Okay. So we're going to have to catch up.
No, we should be in traffic right now. There you go. One of the hardest things about running this board is staying disciplined and not getting caught in the conversation.
Okay.
That is the most difficult thing because we're always on Facebook Live, so the conversation is always going on. But
that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just something you have to be conscious of. That's all. Anyway, I fell way behind on live reads with all the back and forth. So I will get caught up this hour. I'll do the ones that are on time and I'll add on to make them up.
Okay. Cool.
Rolling over to 7:05 and Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, Bree Lynn producing. We're starting your 7 o'clock hour at 52 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. Of course, we are broadcasting live from the 180 Pros studio in downtown Baton Rouge. 180 Pros, is it time for your IT to hit a 180? Visit 180pros.com. Busy hour this hour. We got Medical Monday coming up in our next segment. After that, Daniel Erspaner from the Pelican Institute is going to be on the hotline. The Pelican Institute, and I was tardy in getting in on this, came out about a week or so ago with the Pelican Pulse Poll. The Pelican Pulse Poll from the Pelican Institute. Just what's on the people's minds? What are the people looking for? This is one of the things that sets the table for the direction the state might be headed in very soon. Fiscal discipline is the top priority right now. We'll get into the nuts and bolts of the poll with Daniel Erspaner at 7:35. Right now, though, top stories and trending. Let's go.
Let's find out what you might have missed overnight.
What is going on?
This is Top Stories and Trending, presented by Baton Rouge Metro Airport on Talk 107.3.
I want us all to listen carefully.
Number 5.
Bally's is open. City of Baton Rouge held a ribbon cutting for the grand opening of Bally's Casino on Saturday evening. This is the casino, the hotel, the restaurants. It's all up and running now. The riverfront property was brought in with a huge party on Saturday night. Of course, Bally's is partnered up with the Queen, which is on the other side of downtown.
Number 4.
A former substitute teacher arrested for indecent behavior with a juvenile in an East Baton Rouge Parish High School was arrested again on Friday after contacting the 16-year-old student. 24-year-old Chloe Efron was previously arrested back on November 20th after she allegedly began an inappropriate relationship with a student on the football team. They exchanged explicit photos and messages, and apparently one arrest wasn't enough, so she was picked up again on Friday.
Number 3.
Let's take you back to Friday. 6 people were arrested. 3 people are wanted after a fentanyl raid across EBR. EBR, Ascension, and Livingston parishes. Those all 3 that were part of the raid. This is according to the East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office. They conducted controlled purchases of fentanyl and put together numerous hours of surveillance. They were able to find search warrants for locations in all 3 parishes, picked up 76 grams of fentanyl, 1 kilogram of suspected black tar heroin, over 12 grams of cocaine, 3.5 grams of crack cocaine, 1.87 ounces of methamphetamine, and a whole lot more.
Number 2.
The Roman Catholic Diocese of Baton Rouge announced that Catholics impacted by the immigration agents that are in the state are not required to go to weekly mass on Sundays. The diocese released a letter on Thursday in response to the federal immigration crackdown in New Orleans and South Louisiana. That letter was read at all Catholic masses yesterday.
Number 1.
Cold front moving through. You heard the forecast there at the on the way back in. Get ready for it, y'all, because temperatures are going to dip a good bit in the overnight hours this week. Tonight should be the coldest of those, as tonight we're going to get down to the mid-30s, but we're looking at upper 30s tomorrow night and probably the night after that as well.
There's a look at today's top stories. Now let's find out what's trending.
What you got, Breland?
All right. Pressure is mounting for the White House to release video of the double tap strike on a suspected Venezuelan drug boat last September.
Yeah, so what's in question is no longer whether or not it was a drug boat. It feels like that narrative has gone away completely. Because when this first happened, it's like, oh, these were just fishermen. You don't know.
I remember this. Okay.
And
yes.
you know how you see how quickly the public narrative changes, and
I know
it's not full on gaslighting, but it's just like dust that under the rug. We'll just move on to something new.
New.
So now we've gone from these were just fishermen to you shouldn't have gone all Hans Gruber on the boat.
Number 2, Republican Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene told 60 Minutes that the way Republicans in Congress speak about President Trump behind closed doors would shock people.
Yeah, all right. It's tough to take her at her word because of the way she left. She was like all in. Then one day she wakes up and says, "This affects my life too." Well, peace out. Like it's just it wouldn't be surprising for her to go scorched earth for no reason.
Well, and my thing too is we already know President Trump, no bull kind of man.
Right.
If it doesn't fly, he's going to make it known.
Right.
I mean, it's just
for better or for worse.
Right. So you mean to tell me he does something you don't like? I'm with you. And kind of like, yeah. The Hollywood Foreign Press Association is scheduled to hold a news conference to announce the nominees for the 2026 Golden Globes this morning.
When is that?
I have no idea.
The Golden Globe nominations. That should be like this hour or next hour.
At some point.
I want to say it's going on right now. Yeah. Oh, it's going on right now, and they're updating it live.
Okay. So anything we know?
I'm pulling it up right now, thanks to the Hollywood Reporter, and I'm not subscribed, so it's all blurred out on me.
Of
Dang
course.
nabbit. All right.
Of course, mind. You got to pay.
Here's the thing: I'm not going to know any of them anyway. So what's the difference? I haven't been to the movies in forever.
So. I would say, and I said it last hour, the Lilo and Stitch live action remake, and then it probably is too soon for Zootopia 2, but it's been 2026 has been a major year in the box office.
Okay,
so 2025, my bad.
You just went and mentioned 2 kids movies.
I know.
And the last time I was going to the movies was to see a kids movie. So like we're not a good reference here. We're not a good point of reference here.
No, and I can't think
Neither one of us is a good jumping off point for this.
Oh, wait. How something last summer? How the Halloween movie? I
know what you did.
I know, but they remade it.
They did, okay.
And so I don't know if that may be up for a Golden Globe. Who knows? I'm not a point of reference. Neither are you.
It's the Hollywood Foreign Press,
right?
I don't have a clue. 7-Eleven Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. I got a break coming up. Before that break, got to remind you about the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. FlyBTR.com is their website. FlyBTR.com. Direct flight daily direct flight to our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. The Reagan National Airport, which is right in the thick of it. It's not like flying out to Dulles or Baltimore or anything. The Reagan National Airport right there in the thick of it if you're flying into Washington, D.C. Get your business done same day. You could fly in the morning, you come back home, the return flight comes back in the evening. Get your business done same day. I'm taking the Baton Rouge Metro Airport when I go to Washington Mardi Gras in January. It is unbelievably simple. TSA is a much more relaxed process, not relaxed, but a much more convenient process than it is down the road. No, by the way, don't have to pay exorbitant amounts for parking. Learn more at flybtr.com. Quick break. We got Medical Monday next. Medical Monday does not. It's in today's folder. If you go Haldane, you know where to find all the. No, not Haldane Media. Mornings with Brian Haldane, 2025. I don't know how Haldane Media got into our computer system because that's my side company. No, just mornings. And by the way, everything you save is going to go in this folder as well. So we'll start here. Shared audio, Haldane. Haldane. Mornings. 25. December. Now, it does not have a.
I have to do my opener, correct. I have to fire it out of the.
So it's just dry.
Okay.
Yeah. It's also 3 years old. It has to run it again.
And they want to hear Medical Monday, right? And program 4?
Yes. So you see what Medical Monday is?
Yeah, my Medical Monday opens.
Yeah.
Troy Bella's side company. It sounds so adult.
It is time for Medical Monday, and with that, this is the cold and flu season. We are amidst this time of year every single year, and just the weather has not been cooperating, right? It gets cold, it gets warm, it gets muggy. We got fog advisories and the like. And with that time of year just comes the general nastiness, and it's obviously been ramped up. With COVID having run its course, and this year's flu season being projected to be a lot worse than normal. Now's time to talk about it. Joining us now to talk about this from Our Lady of the Lake is Dr. Oozbody. Doctor, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Brian. I'm good. And you?
Doing very well this morning, and let's hope we can keep it that way with some. I'm sorry, Doctor. Are we on a speaker? Because I'm hearing myself.
No.
Okay. All right. We'll power
let me
through
move
it.
around a little bit.
No worries at all. We've made it through Thanksgiving. We're into the holiday season now. Every year at this time, more and more people and children are getting sick than at other times of the year. Is this okay? Is the cold and flu season a thing, or does it just appear like more folks get sick at this time?
That's a great question. So typically around this time of the year is when we see increased numbers of RSV and flu. But now we're adding COVID to the mix. So everywhere people are talking about the tridemic or the tripledemic, which is a triple threat from COVID, RSV, and flu. So we are seeing more and more cases of RSV and flu. Thankfully, in Louisiana, the number of cases of COVID has remained stable, but we have heard that some parts of the country are beginning to see higher numbers of COVID, so we are also on alert. So typically, these are viruses that we see in the winter, but we are seeing more severe cases of the RSV in babies now, and that's because a lot of these toddlers and infants have been indoors for about 2 years now, so they haven't seen RSV or they have not been exposed to RSV before, so they haven't had time to build an immune system. So not only are we seeing increasing number of cases, but we're also seeing more severe cases. And the same thing is happening with the flu. 2 years ago and last year, the flu numbers were not that bad, but also because we were indoors, we were masking. But this year, we have let down our guard. Fewer people are masking. We are gathering once more. So we are seeing a higher number of flu cases than we previously saw.
We're talking with Dr. Uzadi, a pediatric infectious disease doctor over at Our Lady of the Lake. Okay, so what can we do to stave things off? I mean, in general, we're told, staying active, staying healthy, eating the right things, proper amount of sleep, all these things can help keep us healthy. What can we do in order to help our children with this?
So we definitely want people to enjoy the holidays. We don't want to put a damper on the mood, but we want people to continue to make their health a priority, to make choices that are safe. For instance, during the holiday gatherings, we want people to limit the number of people that they invite to their parties, and if possible, host outside. We're fortunate the weather has been warm lately. If it stays that way, and people are able to, hosting the gatherings outside will definitely help. We want people who are sick to stay at home so that these little ones are not exposed to the virus. Hand washing, we continue to emphasize that. Masking obviously will help. And vaccinating, although there are no vaccines for RSV, we have very good vaccines for the flu and COVID. Many people still haven't had their COVID boosters, so we're recommending that everyone get caught up on their COVID boosters and their flu vaccines.
Let's talk a little bit about food around the holidays. It can get fatty, it can get sugary, it can get overtly sweet. Do any of the things we ingest, any of the things we take in and consume over the holidays have any effect on our overall health, especially when it comes to the cold and flu season?
Absolutely. The way that we eat, what we eat, and the way that we handle food items during the holidays can expose us to foodborne infections. And as you mentioned, during the holiday season, we are stressed, our immune system is not working as hard as it typically does. And then because there are more opportunities to get sick, because we're eating a lot, we're gathering around people who may be sick, these can definitely put us at risk for stomach viruses. So we continue to encourage people to wash their hands frequently. When we're preparing food, we need to do that safely. A lot of raw food contain bacteria, which can cross-contaminate fully cooked food. As much as possible to separate raw items from cooked food. This is the time when people want to invest in a food thermometer to ensure that their food is properly cooked. We don't want you to leave the holiday spread on the table all day long. There's certain foods that need to be refrigerated within 2 hours. So, yeah, a lot of what we eat, a lot of the activities that we participate during the holidays can definitely put us at risk for infections.
It's Medical Monday, presented by the folks over at Our Lady of the Lake. We're talking with Dr. Uzadi, pediatric infectious disease doctor over at Our Lady of the Lake. Doc, so you kind of alluded to this a minute ago, and I'd like you to dive into it a little bit further. Given the increased incidence of COVID, RSV, and the flu right now, do we really need to be looking at another holiday season with limited interaction with family and friends?
As I said earlier, we definitely don't want to damper the mood and fear monger. Yes, we need to be cautious about what we do. As I said, fortunately, our COVID numbers here in Louisiana have been low. And the flu and RSV, these are viruses that we are familiar with. So we have ways that are effective at preventing this infection. So as much as we want people to enjoy the holidays, we want them to get vaccinated and exercise caution when they gather. So don't gather in large crowds, stay outside as much as possible, wear a mask when we can. A lot of people have mask fatigue now, but it makes wear a mask if you a high-risk person who is not going to handle these infections well, or if you're in a concert or a large crowd.
For those of us with children, and those children always get, the sniffles and whatnot, runny noses, coughing, sore throat, other cold and flu-like symptoms. When should we know when it's time to handle it home versus when it's time to head to the pediatrician?
So many of these colds, runny nose, etc., tend to run their course in 4 to 5 days, a week max. So if you notice that your symptoms are lasting longer than that, that's a good time to check with your pediatrician. Also, for the younger children, if they begin to show signs that the illness is progressing, and these may include pains such as having difficulty breathing fast, not staying well hydrated. And how do you know that a child is not hydrated? If they're not making tears, or peeing as much, or if they look drowsy. Other signs to watch out are blueness around the lips, or if the fever is not responding to fever-reducing meds. Or in general, if you notice that you're getting worse instead of getting better as the illness progresses, then it's probably a good time to call your doctor.
Let's talk about stress around holiday time. It affects most adults, if not all adults. Is stress something that affects children around this time of year as well?
Absolutely. During the holidays, children are traveling, visiting family members, shopping, getting presents, and all of these things can disrupt a child's routine and increase their stress levels. And children often take cues from parents. So if the parents are stressed, they are stressed. So we do recommend that parents try as much as possible to minimize their stress levels and maintain children's routines. You want to maintain their mealtime and sleep routines as much as you can. We want you to remember that the holidays are really about spending time with the family and gifting. So make it a tradition to use this as a time to teach the kids how to give. So instead of spending time shopping and creating more stress, you can encourage your child to volunteer, say in serving a holiday meal, etc.
Got just a couple minutes left with Dr. Usbati from Our Lady of the Lake. Let's talk about the grown-ups for just a second. Safe to say that most of us who have kids, our kids have pediatricians, but as we grow up, we tend to neglect ourselves a little bit. Why is it important that parents have a primary care physician and visit that primary care physician regularly?
Having a primary care provider gives you the opportunity to have someone who takes care of you during your entire lifespan. You can develop a long-term relationship with this provider, so they help you stay healthy, or when you do get sick, they help you get better. It has been shown that people who have primary care providers end up in the hospital less and spend less money when they get sick. And that's because your primary care provider teaches you how to make better decisions to prevent disease. For example, they can help you quit smoking, help you eat better, help you manage your stress levels. They make sure your vaccines are up to date. They screen you for problems you may not even know you have, like getting a mammogram for breast cancer. And they can help you find a specialist when you do need one.
One more before we get you out of here. That takes us back to the flu shots real quick. There's often, myths about who can and cannot get a flu shot. When it comes to our kids, who should be getting a flu shot?
That's a good question, Brian. So the flu shot is approved for all kids above the age of 6 months. So the only age group for which it's not yet approved are the kids below 6 months. So there are very, very few reasons why a child cannot have the flu vaccine. And even in those scenarios, there are way around it. Some kids who have some types of allergies, there are also recommendations on how to manage that. So the vast majority of children should be able to get the flu vaccine as long as they're above 6 months.
Last one before we get you out of here. Where can folks go to learn more?
Well, I think I want people to enjoy the holidays and safeguard their health, continue to make their health and safety a priority during this holiday season. And I hope they have a happy holidays.
Dr. Usbadi, thank you so much for a couple minutes this morning. Happy holidays to you as well.
And happy holidays, Brian. Thank you.
Absolutely. OLOLRMC.com/PCP. As a reminder, that Medical Monday was, of course, pre-recorded. I would like to give that disclaimer when we have something that's not live. Yes, that was pre-recorded. And you heard on the front end, possibly even a little bit dated. All the cold and flu stuff and holiday season stuff, absolutely. But just love the partnership with Our Lady of the Lake. And it's continued. It's the content. I mean, it stays a little bit more evergreen. Got just a moment to remind you about the folks over at Mathern's. Not too late. If you are in charge of the food for your company's Christmas party, or maybe you're doing your own entertaining, hit Mathern's up, Mathern's.com, or hit up the Mathern's Rewards app. Let them handle the catering, y'all. And look, it's not just as simple as sandwich trays or chicken finger trays or boudin ball trays or egg roll trays, which they have all those things, fried catfish. They have all those things. But, I mean, what about, like, I don't know, crawfish etouffee, shrimp etouffee? Yeah. The amount of catering options that they have over at Mathern's is phenomenal. And it's like I said, not too late to get started. You want to have, a tray of wraps, po' boys, just charcuterie board, lasagna they offer up, chicken and sausage gumbo they offer up. It's all available on the website and on the app, Mathern's Rewards app. And of course, I love telling you about the Mathern's Rewards app because you earn cash towards more groceries every time you shop. Love it when I'm working LSU. I'll stop by that Mathern's right there in Nicholson, in the Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center. Have them scan the little barcode as I'm picking up my dinner, and boom, my dinner is also earning me cash towards more groceries. It is just that simple. Download the app today. The app's good at all three locations: downtown on 3rd, Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center, or Highland just west of Kenilworth. It's Mathern's. Okay, we've got about a minute or so until we have to hit news, traffic, and weather. On the back end of news, traffic, and weather, we will be visited by Daniel Erspaner. He is with the Pelican Institute. It was, I believe, was it last week? It was heading into Thanksgiving. The Pelican Institute released their Pelican Pulse poll. Louisiana voters calling for fiscal restraint, calling for bold tax reform, calling for expanded school choice, calling for a number of different things when it comes to what they want from their government, what we want from our government. Daniel Erspaner from the Pelican Institute is going to hop on board in the next segment to talk about it. Talk about, first of all, how they get the results, and then what those results are, and then where do we go from here? How do we pick up what the people are saying and respond? Oh, we'll also talk a little bit about the U.S. Senate race for next year as well. That was part of the poll, too. So looking forward to that conversation coming your way right after news, traffic, and weather. Don't forget, Talk 107.3 is your home for Ken Trahan's original prep football report. Get live in-game updates from the Caesars Superdome this Friday, 6 to 11 p.m. during the LHSAA Prep Football Championships. It's Ken Trahan's original, brought to you locally by Dr. Pepper and the Harold Perkins Jr. Tuition Program. What? No, he's calling. Local news. No, they do the weather. The whole, yeah. 736 Talk 1073 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. So, right around Thanksgiving time, the folks over at the Pelican Institute for Public Policy put out their Pelican Pulse poll. What a massive alliteration right there. We have yet to get a chance to catch up with Daniel Erspaner to talk about it, but he's on the hotline right now. Daniel, how are you, sir?
Good morning, Brian. I like to give you a tongue twister for the morning.
The Pelican Institute for Public Policy putting out the Pelican Pulse poll. I'm here for it, man. Let's go.
Well done, sir.
Thank you. Let's start with the genesis of this whole thing. What is the Pelican Pulse poll, and why do you do it?
Yeah, it's important to understand where the people are and to really get a pulse, a sense for public opinion. We started doing this earlier this year. It's a regular poll. We hope to do it quarterly next year. Part of it is to track sentiment over time. We have some questions that we'll ask every time to track things like support for the LA Gator program, eliminating the personal income tax, those sorts of things. And then, to have some fun too. Of course, we asked some Thanksgiving questions this time, and some political ones. The Senate race, high on that list.
We're talking with Daniel Erspaner from the Pelican Institute about the Pulse poll that they have out there. All right, let's start in with a few of the responses here real quick. Fiscal discipline being the top priority. Internals are always important, Daniel. So how was the question phrased and how was it answered?
Yeah, let's see. So this is, we asked several questions on fiscal discipline. The first was about spending. So we asked a couple of them. One was, do you support or oppose recent efforts to limit the growth of state spending through a constitutional government growth limit? We asked whether voters, do you support or oppose the state's comprehensive tax reform package passed last year, which reduced state income tax rates, eliminated loopholes, increased the state sales tax, and simplified the tax code overall. So we really, the effort is not to make this any sort of push poll, but really to get a sense for, what do people think about this? Now, I will tell you, having written a lot of polls in my life, it's hard to get those summarized in a way that makes everybody happy, but it's always interesting to try to do it.
Yeah, it can lead to a lot of variance, to be sure.
Yeah.
So what do we do with this? I mean, I feel like the state's been in that direction already, or we're at least trying to push in that direction. What do we do with that information about the want for more fiscal discipline?
Yeah, I think for us, this is something we hope, obviously, that lawmakers, elected officials at every level really listen to say, it's easy, especially the incentives of politics today. It's easy to try to get the press release and the round of applause for bringing home the bacon. But what we see in this, if you really break down all these answers, is voters want a better fiscal house. They want more predictability. They want to eliminate the personal income tax. And overall, they think the state collects and spends too much money. So, we really hope this is a message to all lawmakers that, continue down that path, but maybe even more aggressively toward really controlling spending and getting those tax rates down.
Eliminating the personal income tax. I'm of the belief, Daniel, I think you are as well, that it's going to happen. I mean, we're on that path right now. I don't see anything taking us off that path. Now, that being said, though, that just reduces the amount going into the state's coffers. It doesn't dictate what it's used for once it gets to those coffers.
Yeah, that's right. And I think, I've talked a lot about this over the years. We have these restrictions within the Constitution, some of which voters will take another look at in May, coming up on the ballot with constitutional amendments. And then, we like this idea of a government growth limit that says, government can only grow as fast as inflation and population, very reasonable, and force the prioritization of these conversations. And by the way, in the government growth limit model that we've proposed, surplus dollars, extra dollars can be used for roads and bridges, for infrastructure, and to pay down debt, which reduces ongoing spending over time.
Talk with Daniel Erspaner from the Pelican Institute about their Pelican Pulse poll. Number of other topics covered within the poll. I don't want to spend all the time on waste, fraud, and inefficiency and the like, but is there a way to dive, and I don't know if you could do this through a poll, Daniel, but is there a way to dive deeper to determine what is deemed waste?
That's a good question. I think there is a way to do that. And that's a good question for our next poll. Anecdotally, I think the challenge of all this is one man's waste is another man's treasure.
Right.
We have seen support overall for eliminating or at least reducing government payments to nonprofits, to NGOs. Some of the pretty obvious pork barrel spending.
Yeah.
But it is a challenge broadly because people like their own bacon.
Well, and that's the thing. The definition of pork is government money that doesn't come to your district.
Yeah, that's right.
So I always want to scratch the surface, scratch a little bit deeper, and say, okay, fine. You want lower taxes, so do I. How do we get there? Or what is worthy of cutting and what is not? When you look at like you mentioned roads and bridges, right? I mean, we've got a backlog there that's it's a generational backlog, to be sure. Yeah. So it's just if we could figure out what the people would deem wasteful, maybe we could do better at redirecting. That being said, though, let's pivot because we got a number of different topics to talk about within the poll because it covers so much good ground. Yeah. Lawsuit abuse is still ranking pretty high here. By the way, in the week where we're going to find out whether or not Louisiana is a judicial hellhole, Tiger
That's
Joyce
right.
is on the show on Wednesday, by the way. On a week where we find out about that, lawsuit abuse is still topping the charts.
Oh, it is. And this is something on the minds as, we asked about people's insurance rates. We asked about the coastal lawsuits or lawsuits against energy producers. Of course, significant majority, nearly 60% of voters were supportive of an effort to limit the state's ability to sue oil and gas producers. Mm-hmm. And we saw 67%, 66% tell us that they believe lawsuit abuse is a direct contributor to increased costs, not just in insurance, but in everyday life. So this is something absolutely at the top of the list. By the way, 58% of respondents said their auto insurance premiums had increased, and 62% said their utility bills had increased.
The utility bills, yeah, definitely. And auto insurance. Look, Tim Temple's working hard up there, but yep. I mean, he can't be the only man fighting that battle.
That's right. Yeah, so he and others should know that the voters are paying attention to that, and expect results, and aren't feeling like quite yet. And these policies always take some time to implement. So I'm not criticizing what the progress has been, but voters expect even more.
Moving over to education, Gator Scholarship Fund, obviously very, very popular. Talk to me about just how popular and is how do I approach this the right way, Daniel? If we constantly want lower taxes, how can we expect the same level of services? So, like when it comes to the Gator Scholarship, that's money that's not deemed wasteful, to be sure.
Yeah, look, I think voters consistently tell us that education is among their top priorities, and what this poll tells us is, and others that we've done, is voters are broadly supportive of the idea that families rather than government are in the best position to make education decisions for their kids. We saw nearly 60% favorability of the Gator program, and over 70% of voters who said that it ought to be fully funded. That the promise that lawmakers made to these families, nearly 40,000 kids were approved and signed up, and it was no easy task. It was quite a process to go sign up for that program. So this is something that clearly, anecdotally, we see in the people who sign up, and quantitatively in a poll, we see that people really support. And look, there's been a lot of discussion about the fiscal impact of Gator, and we're spending more and more in our MFP, the core funding formula for the traditional public schools, with less and less enrollment. So I think as we talk about education overall, we need to look at, we're spending a lot of money already. Is it going to the right places? And are we allowing parents or empowering parents to make these decisions for their kids? That's all going to be part of this discussion.
Yeah, there was one little nugget that I saw in here that there's no way I can ignore it. 64% of respondents supported abolishing zip code based school assignments.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
It is, because for so long, okay, especially here in Baton Rouge, where, we had busing going on for so long, and the push for neighborhood schools, like if you don't want your kid, waiting on the bus at 5:00 in the morning, they need to go to a school that's close by. After all that, it comes back around to roughly 2/3 of the folks say, I don't want to be constricted.
Yeah. This I think gets to that, the just strong choice, strong support for parental choice and education freedom. That doesn't just mean moving your kid to a private school or a parochial school or a home school, but it also means I might rather go to that public school that's across town.
Yeah.
So, we believe in education freedom broadly, with a school that fits for every child, including moving among public schools if you choose to.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The number caught me by surprise. Especially when you consider just the ebbs and flows of how that argument has gone in the past. We got about 2.5 minutes left with Daniel Erspaner from the Pelican Institute. No way we don't spend those 2.5 minutes talking about the 2026 U.S. Senate race. What did the Pelican Pulse poll tell us?
Yes. So as we look at Republican voters in this, obviously this will be a closed primary. So we look at Republican voters. Bill Cassidy at 29%, of course, the incumbent, Senator Bill Cassidy. Treasurer John Fleming comes in at 22%. Followed by Julie Emerson at 7%, Blake Miguez at 3%, Kathy Seiden and Eric Skrmetta both clocking in at 2%. But if those low numbers support or concern a lot of the candidates, 22% still unsure. 11% told us they are interested in another candidate beyond that list. So there's a lot of room and a lot of movement yet to happen on this. But interesting, pretty low numbers certainly for an incumbent in a primary at this stage in the election at 29 for Senator Cassidy.
Yeah.
Maybe the big surprise here was Julie Emerson coming in at 7%, relatively new into the race, and some of the folks have been campaigning for a lot longer.
I think yes, even more surprising than Emerson at 7 is where Miguez is at. That shocks me.
I was surprised at that too. I expected Senator Miguez to be higher on that list, and not a whole lot of money has been spent yet in this race, so maybe some more movement to come. But an interesting snapshot of where we are now.
Well, it's one of those ones where, look, sometimes we have to take a look in the mirror and say we might be a little bit too much inside baseball. You know,
Yeah.
it's this steps outside of that to see what the general. Well, that's why the word pulse is right there in the
That's
poll.
right.
That's absolutely why. The next step, I guess, going into the spring would be to follow up and say, should Cassidy win the primary, where do you go?
That's right.
Because
Yep.
it really feels like there's a lot of anti-Cassidy sentiment as opposed to pro other candidate sentiment.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. As we've already started, and I took a note on your question on waste, by the way, but started to construct, the poll. We'll do this again in late February in advance of our March 3rd Solutions Summit, which I hope you'll be at again this year.
Absolutely.
And so we'll release the next one at the summit on March 3rd, which will be a really interesting time ahead of the primary to see where things stand. And again, I think you're right. Ask that question. Some of the head-to-head after the primary. Now that requires some Democrat candidates to emerge in the next
Good luck
couple of
with
months
that.
to do that test, but we'll see how it goes.
He's Daniel Erspaner from the Pelican Institute. Always appreciate the time, brother. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Have a great one.
You too. Here's your money now. Jeez, some criminies. Oh shit. Tired. All right, good. Again? What the fuck? I know. You start putting together a list of things that are like out of order or like not right. LRN fading, no break on the end of that. Yeah. Yeah. All good. Oh shit, I'm starting to get tired. Yeah, that's every night for me. So yeah. Yeah. Yeah, 10, 11, and 12. Shit. Oh, dadgummit, man. I know, I'm sorry. I know it's contagious, and I shouldn't be doing it. I'm gonna get up during the break and walk around a little bit. Oh, I have no idea what you're talking about. Wake up? Oh. I want to roll with smelling salts. That looks like a fun world to be in. 7:55 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Effects of the ice raids. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. Do need a moment to remind you about the folks over at 180 Pros. 180pros.com is the website. 180pros.com. Who are they? What do they do? Well, they are a local IT management partner for you. And yeah, I said partner. I got that right. Not provider, partner. Their success is based off of your success. Their success is based off of the relationship that you have with them. They provide same-day response. They provide simplified billing. They provide local service. In fact, if you call them at 225-330-2200. 225 is in, they're right here in our backyard. Look, I can tell you about their tech all day long for building out or maintaining your network. I can tell you about their expertise all day long when it comes to cybersecurity, but it's the relationship-first mentality that separates 180 Pros from the rest. Learn more at 180pros.com. The Catholic Diocese of Baton Rouge, reading this from the Advocate, has announced that Catholics affected by ongoing immigration enforcement activity will not be required to attend Mass. The announcement was read at Mass yesterday morning. We were at 9 a.m. at Mercy. We heard it there. Father Cleo read the letter that came from Bishop Duca. We'll dive into that in just a second. I do want to revisit what our news partners at Louisiana Radio Network have been reporting on throughout the morning. And that is also from Border Patrol and ICE agents. J.P. Morrell, a New Orleans city councilman, says that when it comes to potential fallout from these raids, well, we do have a stand your ground law. We are an open carry state.
There's only a matter of time before they pull up to snatch someone who's a U.S. citizen who pulls out a legally owned firearm and defends themselves.
Is that where we're going with this? Is that where we're going with this? Is to say that if you are being arrested by authorities, you have these are legal authorities, correct? This isn't just like vigilante justice here. Would stand your ground apply? We're going to ask Franz that question on Wednesday morning to be sure, because I feel like that's a bit of a stretch. If a police officer confronts you, do you have the right to stand your ground there? Why would this be any different? I'm asking legitimately from a position of ignorance. I don't know. Morrell says the only defense law enforcement has against a stand your ground claim by officers is clearly identifying themselves. He says the operation has a stated goal of arresting 5,000 people in the country illegally. Now, Morrell says setting a goal like that is simply, it essentially establishes a quota, and it's an unrealistic one at that.
There's not 5,000 violent criminals lurking in the greater New Orleans area to meet that number.
See, that's where the follow-up question would be, okay, what is the number? How many violent criminals are there? And how do you know? And where are they? And it's not just the greater New Orleans area. It's throughout South Louisiana and throughout Mississippi. And when you get outside of New Orleans, and this is where someone from New Orleans might lose a little bit of context here. But when you step outside of New Orleans and, like, let's say, cross the lake and hit I-12, and we can be very familiar with it here in Baton Rouge because we have that 10-12 corridor. Now you're starting to talk about hitting the roadways where people would be still traversing. Not necessarily from the area, but in the area. Cross the Twin Span, go into Slidell. I don't know that he can definitively say there aren't 5,000 unless pressed to put an actual number on it. By the way, DHS has said they've released the identities of about a half dozen people with violent criminal histories who Border Patrol agents have arrested. Morrell says, however, that department is not being transparent because the big picture is a very different story.
If you release the names of everyone you've arrested, you find out that many of them are here not illegally.
But at that point, wouldn't they go back to their lives? Either way, it's causing a lot of turmoil, a lot of consternation, to be sure, which is why I wanted to go into, and I'm not going to have time to read the whole thing. Our news partners at WBRZ have posted it up as well. But if you're Catholic and you went to church yesterday, if you're Catholic and you didn't go to church yesterday, you hit confession. But if you're Catholic and you went to church yesterday, you heard the letter be read very eloquently by Father Cleo at 9:00 Mass at Mercy. But Bishop Duca's letter, I just wanted to take a quick moment to note, it stepped away from the politics and talked about the people, and said at the end of the day, the church is here to put your mind at ease. So we'll pick up hour 3 next. Do you have this day in history ready to roll?
Yep.
Okay. Oh! The letter says, since many of the faithful genuinely fear immigration enforcement actions, thereby making it untenable for them to attend Mass on Sundays and holy days of obligation, which, by the way, Catholics, today's a holy day of obligation. Now you're saying, but Brian, if a holy day of obligation falls on a Monday, it doesn't count, you don't have to go. Not true of Feast of the Immaculate Conception. So you got to be there. I hereby granted dispensation from the obligation to attend Mass for those Catholics rightfully afraid to participate in Mass because of their fear. Short of the word rightfully, that's completely apolitical. Basically, Bishop Duca is saying, you're afraid. I understand you're afraid. We're not here to compound that. If you want to stay home, stay home.
Renee says, I'm Catholic and I heard the letter. Is that the church harboring illegals?
No. How? I don't
understand the question. But
expound upon that and tell me how. How is the church harboring illegals? Because the letter isn't addressed to illegals. The letter is addressed to anyone who has fear. Unless I read it wrong.
I would take it as the church is empathizing. They're not. Maybe that's not the word I want to use, but you know what? Maybe I don't know.
It's go back to the letter itself.
Renee said maybe I misunderstood.
That's possible, but I don't think you misunderstood. I think that's my initial reaction was similar though. It's like, why would this require dispensation especially when you consider that a church is actually a sanctuary? Like if they were offering the churches, saying, hey, get in the church so that we can protect you, that would be harboring. We need to be in.
Yep. Yeah. After that ad. Yep.
Nope.
No.
Nope. There's a Bloomberg Money Minute, and then there's traffic, and then there's weather. There it is.
That wasn't in there. Oh, yes, it was. Sorry.
What?
On my notes.
Oh. Yeah, 8:00 has that Bloomberg Minute.
Yep. Children's movies.
Maybe we are down then.
Lilo and Stitch, y'all.
I should ask Cleo for a full copy of the dadgum letter.
You should have them on.
He's going to defer to Duca. You know what? I think I have an open segment tomorrow. I'm going to call and get Duca. .806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. Bree Lynn producing. We are starting off the 8 o'clock hour at 51 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge as we are in the 180 Pros studio. This hour we're going to talk with Moon Griffon in our next segment. I might bring up this diocesan letter with Moon just to get his take on it because I think I walked away with a completely different take than most. In fact, it was backed up in the chat. Oh, cool. We've got a direct link to the letter. Okay. But we have Renee says in the chat, I'm Catholic. I heard the letter. Is the church harboring illegals? And my answer to that is I don't think so. I don't think so because the letter does not reference legal or illegal at all. The letter references those who are experiencing fear as a result of what's happening. The letter is saying, regardless of who you are, if you genuinely are afraid to leave the home, don't make this like you have dispensation. You don't have to leave, legal or illegal. You don't have to leave your house to come to church. We'll go ahead and I guess I don't know how long that dispensation will last, but because it as I read it was kind of open ended. But the point of the matter is that the letter was not about legality. The letter was about fear. So we'll talk with Moon in our next segment. Also, George Bell going to be stopping by from the Capital Area United Way. He actually was the Rotary speaker last week. Talked about, for lack of a better term, the term is ALICE, but it's an acronym. And it's essentially talking about the working poor. But I want to talk about George Bell and Friends. The concert's out there. It's on LPB. I actually caught some of it the other night. Caught the dead end of it, though. But they closed out with This Christmas, and it was awesome. So George Bell will be in. Talk a little bit about the holiday season before we're all said and done. Right now, though, it is time for This Day in History. All right, Bree Lynn, what happened?
All right. In 1863, Abraham Lincoln issues his proclamation and plan for the Reconstruction of the South.
Hey, all right.
1941, U.S. and Britain declare war on Japan. The U.S. now enters World War II.
Okay.
1941, U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt delivers his famous Day of Infamy speech
Yes.
to a joint session of Congress.
Awesome.
Skipping ahead, you have in 1992, NBC announces that Cheers will go off the air in May of 1993. I'm so sad. That is my favorite show.
It's up there.
Yeah. 2007, 73rd Heisman Trophy winner, Tim Tebow, Florida quarterback.
Oh, good Lord.
I love Tim Tebow.
Okay.
2010, with the second launch of the SpaceX Dragon, SpaceX now becomes the first privately held company to successfully launch, orbit, and recover a spacecraft.
Fantastic.
2018, you have U.S. President Donald Trump announces John Kelly will be stepping down as White House Chief of Staff at the end of the year.
What? All right.
2020, the UK begins vaccinating for COVID-19 using the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine.
Ooh, wow.
Yep.
That was quick. Okay.
Jumping ahead at the end, you have 2024 American singer-songwriter Taylor Swift concludes the Eras Tour with her 149th show in Vancouver.
Okay.
And that's all I got.
Well, I got a few more here if I can squeeze them in. Let's go back to this day in 2001. LSU football wins the SEC championship game against Tennessee.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yep. This day in 2022, kind of a big day on this day in 2022. Brittany Griner was released from a Russian prison and was sent home.
Remember that.
Yeah. Also, this day in 1978, The Deer Hunter was released. And this day last year, 1 year ago today. You know what happened 1 year ago today?
Let me think. I don't know. Tell me.
The last show of the Eras Tour.
Oh, yeah. She's about to come out with that documentary. I think. What day is it? Hang on. December 12th.
Okay.
Y'all. Episodes 1 through 4, End of an Era on Disney Plus, I believe.
All right. Birthdays, what you got?
All right, birthdays. We have Nicki Minaj. She was born in 1982. We also have Jim Morrison. He was born in 1943. Dwight Howard, 1985.
Dadgummit, you got Dwight Howard in there. All right. Got a couple more to add to that list if we can. You want to start off with Ann Coulter was born on this day in 1961. Did you have Sammy Davis Jr. on your list?
No.
All right, I got Sammy Davis Jr. on my list, Kim Basinger on my list, Terry Hatcher as well. And then two more from the sports world. Running back George Rogers, born on this day in 1958, and quarterback Phillip Rivers, born on this day in 1981. Yeah.
I didn't get to him. All right, people who passed on this day, we have John Lennon. John Lennon, 1980.
Yep.
Thomas D. Quincy, 1859.
Okay.
Going all the way back. You also have John Glenn. He passed away. He was an American astronaut. He passed away in 2016.
All right. Yeah, those are the John Lennon one was the only one that I had. So all set.
I had to scour to find some more.
Well, yeah, you run out Thomas De Quincey. I don't think anybody knows who that is.
I just learned him in history books.
And I'm looking at him right now because I have no clue. Thomas De Quincey was an English essayist and critic, best known for his best known for his Confessions of an English Opium Eater.
Okay, I learned him in the history books, and I was like, wait, I recognize that name.
Okay.
All right, National Day today. We have Brownie Day, National Brownie Day, and National Crossword Solvers Day.
Crossword Solvers Day.
I guess if you just sit on the throne and you.
I suppose so. That's. I mean, who is? If you're not a crossword solver, what are you? Like you just stare at it? I don't understand.
Right.
Also, John Glenn. John Glenn died today as well.
John Glenn.
Yeah. Passed on this day in 2016. All right. That is This Day in History, which was, of course, presented by 5-Star Printing and Signs. Printshop5.com is the website. 2714096 is the phone number. 2714096. I was talking about 5-Star over the weekend with a buddy of mine. He's got a business that he runs or that he owns. And he was hosting some friends over and was handing out koozies with another company's logo on them. I'm like, dude, why don't you have your logo on koozies? He's like, I don't know. I hadn't gotten them. I said, you need to see Danny at 2714096. Call Danny up. Put your logo on a koozie. Branding is so important. Putting your logo on merchandise is unbelievably important because if you're out of sight, you're out of mind. Printshop5.com if you want to get some examples of what you can put your logo on. 2714096. Of course, that's 225-271-4096. If you want to learn how to collaborate a little more, give Danny a call. He will very, very much take care of you. 5-Star Printing and Signs. Quick break. Moon Griffon is next. Okay, you need Moon's phone number because you call him.
Okay, I think. Let me see if I have it. Hang on. If not, I definitely need to get it.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me get you off a program for. Hang on. Okay. I got it. Just send it to me just in case.
I'm sending it to you. There you go. You got it in your phone.
Thank you.
Now you can save that contact and you're good to go. Oh. Oh, call him from line 2.
From line 2.
Yeah, because it's a long distance number. So
that's why. That's why I'm running into issues. That could be why.
it's 100% why.
Hey, Moon. Good morning. It's mornings with Brian Haldane. It's good. I'm Breedland. Okay. I would say go ahead and get somebody because I'm still brand new, Moon. Go ahead. He is out, but text him. He is out, but go ahead and text him.
No. Cade?
Okay.
What does he need?
He needs somebody to run the board tomorrow. Mm-hmm. He wants to come. I'm going to catch up with you in a minute. Okay, hang on. Okay.
$816 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We need to reconnect with Moon.
Up.
Bree Lynn's going to call Moon back. In the meanwhile, I get to tell you about, you know what? Let me tell you about Breck. Breck.org is the website. I don't know if there's still openings on camps. I haven't checked yet today. I do know that if you had not gotten in on camps, you're missing out. If you're wondering what to do with the kids over the Christmas break, they've got a number of great camps over at Breck. If you go to Breck.org, pull up their website, you'll learn a lot more about not just the camps, but all the facilities. In fact, click on the Your Interests tab, and you will see just a complete list of everything. Whether you're talking about athletics, whether you're talking about aquatics, whether you're talking about, we'll talk about things involving kids or things involving the community. You can get yourself started on a myriad of things. They've got a calendar of community events over there at Breck.org. It's way too long to mention. But when it comes to kids events, let me just give you a couple of them, okay? I'll run down today for kids. You ready? Trail time for toddlers at the Bluebonnet Swamp starts off at 9:30 this morning. You got after-school adventures over at Antioch Boulevard Park, 3:30 this afternoon. You got another after-school adventures over at Lovett Road Park. There's a cheer class this evening at the North Sherwood Forest Community Park.
Hang on.
And this goes on and on throughout the week. And that's just for the kids. When you talk about the grown-ups, there's a whole other list of things that you can do. When you talk about whole families, there's a whole list of things you can do. But it starts over at Breck.org. All right. We visit with Moon Griffon every Monday. He's on with us now. You hear him live 9 to 11 right here on Talk 107.3. How are you, brother?
Brother Brian, I am hanging in there, man. I'm ready for the end of the year and some time off. I got to tell you, but I still got a couple weeks left.
So, Moon, I did the math, man. I did the math. If I had left work last Wednesday and just not come back till January, I would have still had 80 hours left over of personal time.
You had 80 hours left?
If I had left last Wednesday and just not come back to work till after the new year, I would have had 80 hours worth. That's 2 weeks worth of vacation still on the books that I haven't used this year. So, yeah, I did a bad job of managing my vacation days this year. And with the way Christmas and New Year's maps out, I'm only taking 2 days here. So, man, it's been a weird year.
Yeah, I'm Brian, up to about last year, I was only taking off about 15, 16 days. I've been doing this, in my 33rd year.
Yeah.
And I'm watching everybody around this radio station over here that's been here along as me off 6 weeks. And I'm going, what am I doing wrong?
But that's the thing, though. But you know as well as I do, it's almost harder to take the day off than it is to work the day.
Well, no, it's no doubt about it. What I do, you could probably follow my schedule. From January through about July, I always take probably a Friday a month off.
Okay.
And I will take it. I'm gonna work till Christmas Eve, and I'm gonna be off to the first of the year.
Yeah.
And then there's a Thanksgiving week. I'll take an extra day, and I try to squeeze one here and there. But I think I'm up to about 20, 21 days. But so it's a little better than I was.
Man, this year was just this year. I think I think I'm out at six vacation days for the whole year this year. It's kind of ridiculous. We got a lot to talk about this morning. Can we start with, did you see what happened with the Diocese of Baton Rouge over the weekend, Moon?
No, I did not, Brian. I'm going to tell you, I missed it. And let's now bring it to my attention real quick.
Okay, so the Bishop Duca put out a letter giving dispensation for anyone who's afraid of ICE agents in the Baton Rouge area. And it's open-ended, and the way the letter's written is very, I'll read you a piece of it, okay? The letter says, since many of the faithful genuinely fear immigration enforcement actions, thereby making it untenable for them to attend Mass on Sundays and holy days of obligation, I hereby grant a dispensation from the obligation to attend Mass for those Catholics rightfully afraid to participate in Mass because of their fear. The letter goes on to say these expulsions are not only affecting our Catholic Hispanic brothers and sisters, but also refugees and immigrants of all denominations from other nations who form the rich tapestry of our local communities. These are our neighbors, co-workers, and parishioners. And the letter goes on from there as well. My thing, Moon, is in reading it, it was, and I recommend reading the full letter before, sounding off on it. But my thing in reading it was it stepped away from the politics and talked about like what the effects are from those, even if you're here legally, what the perception is and how these ICE raids are being publicized. To me, this is more about the publicity of having like the Gestapo down your neck as opposed to this being targeted.
Yeah. Well, I didn't read it, Brian. There's a couple of things here just jumps out at me. Number one is that the Catholic Church or Catholic Charities, if you read enough about it, has been deeply involved in the illegal immigration, especially on the border. And so the Catholic Church has been involved in it. There's been a lot of federal money involved.
They've been involved in trying to help people who need help and move them towards the legality. They're not involved in bringing gang members over here. They're involved in the ones who, I'm
not going. I wasn't going there. I was just telling you they've been involved in something that some people would think was illegal. They look at it as a way to help people. And
right.
So I get that, but the ICE raids are really for illegals. And I'll be honest with you, I've talked and I've had people from the Trump administration on with us, and what they're really focusing on is the really bad people.
Yes.
The problem with that is, I think you're going to agree with me. Anytime you focus on the bad people, you might get a few people that really aren't bad people. But if you're here illegally, you broke the law. And I just don't. And I've watched the Trump administration with this for a while. Don't look like they're going and just raiding every single person they could raid. They just don't look like that's what they're doing. Now, there's been people that have fought against it. There's been cities and communities that have fought against it. So, like I said, I didn't read the letter. But I'm just saying from the top, some of the charities have been really involved, and there's been a lot of federal money in it during the Biden administration.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think the president's trying to stop. Every time I pick up, I don't know about you, I pick up the newspaper or read that somebody was raped or somebody was killed or somebody was this and it was illegal. I get frustrated with that. I do. I really do, for the families that lost a loved one or got.
1,000% completely agree on that front.
My take is really different. I just think they, and Trump and him have said this from the beginning, they're really after the bad guys first.
Right.
And that's the ones that are drugs and all the illegal stuff you just talked about. I think that's what a big focus is. Because they're the ones committing crime. They're the bad ones.
Right. And that's, I don't know. My whole thing is about the perception of what's going on, though. That, to me, that's making all the difference here, is the way it's being reported, the way it's being protested, the way it's just, this to me is all about, it's not about action and it's all about narrative.
Yeah. Well, perception's reality.
Oh.
In the political world, what we're talking about, whether we want to or not, there's a lot of politics in it. There was a lot of politics that opened the borders and just let people flow through. So
also true.
You always have some politics in it. Like I said, I'm not cutting the Catholic Church. I'm saying there's been some involvement down there. That's people that felt like there'd been some hanky-panky, especially with a lot of the money that was coming in. So, you think, well, Baton Rouge is way away from the border. Well, not really, because they had to take all these people and spread them throughout the country. And but I noticed, Brian, one thing I learned in life, there's almost two sides to every story. And that's the point that we're trying to figure out right now.
So it's easy to say Louisiana is not a border state because geographically we're not. But when you look at the 10-12 corridor and being a funnel or a channel to the rest of the nation, the same 10 that runs through Texas runs through our backyard.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They got to ship people, so they start off probably shipping closer and then moving people out.
Right.
But it's I don't want anybody hurt. But if you don't belong here, there's a legal way to do it. That's all I've ever said.
Yep.
I said there's laws, there's legal ways to do it, and we're going to always accept people to come here legally that can come in and go to work and build a family and become citizens one day. I don't have a problem with anything legally. It's the illegals, especially the bad ones. And I think there's some bad ones wrapped inside the good ones. And those are the ones that I think President Trump and them are going after. That's who I think that the big goal is.
We got Moon Griffon for a couple more minutes. I do want to pivot over to I didn't get Daniel Erspaner on about the Pelican Pulse poll until earlier today, Moon. Talk about that poll. One of the questions or one of the topics within the poll was next year's Senate race. Blake Miguez coming in at 3%. How much does that surprise you?
Well, I've seen several polls that got Blake at 7, 8, or 9. Julie hadn't really run that long, and she was already at 7%.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying the poll's wrong, because Cassidy, I've seen 4 or 5 polls. Cassidy's 22 to 29, and Fleming's has always been running second. So not really concerned. I think the concentration on that race is going to come after the first of the year. That's when I think we're going to start seeing some stuff. And if somebody's going to make a move, they're going to have to start making a move about January, February to get some momentum going to have a chance to win. Right now, if you look at the race, it's a Cassidy-Fleming's race until something changes. But something can change. It's still a good ways out. But I think that once we get to about February or March, that race is starting to now determine what's going to really happen. I think Cassidy has a problem winning. Every pollster that I talk to says Cassidy has almost, I ain't going to say no chance, but has a tough time winning, although he still has a lot of money.
Right.
And you know what they say, money talks, and you know what walks.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. It's just, if you're a two-term incumbent and you're polling in the 20s, I don't care if it's 29 or 22 or 30 from that, you got a problem. You've got a big time. And by the way, he spent a lot of money. Just because of the position they put him in, he can raise a lot of money.
No, absolutely.
So,
but I guess my level of surprise is I would have thought that Blake Miguez and Julie coming in at 7% doesn't shock me, but I really would have had Blake in double digits.
I don't know. I've seen polls that have been close to that, but I just think that right now, between you and me, and I think you're going to agree with me, I don't think that's a concentration for a lot of people right now. I just don't.
Yeah. Get us through the holidays, and then we'll start to focus in. That's a good point. That's a solid point. That's a good point.
Yeah, you get past January, start getting to February, toward March, and you got the session coming back around, and things are going to heat up, and I think you're going to see a lot more advertisement running. Cassidy has a lot of money to run a lot of advertisement. So you're going to see a lot of that things up and down and change around. I just don't know if Blake said 2, but I can understand. You take a poll. The Pelican Institute is a very respectable place. You and me love them. Yeah. So you can't throw it out the window either.
Got 2 minutes left with Moon Griffon. What's on your show today?
Brian, I got you're going to be able to understand, Russ, because me and you have a little disagreement when it comes to carbon capture and some of the renewables.
Yeah.
So Trump put out, I think it was Friday, declaring national energy emergency. And you can go read the whole thing. I read the whole thing, and I took some bits and pieces out. But the term energy, and they talked about energy resources, means crude oil, natural gas liquids, refined petroleum products, uranium, coal, biofuels, geothermal heat, water, everything, minerals, no mention of carbon capture, no mention of wind, no mention of solar, no mention of batteries. None of it is in that. I think that's interesting considering we're trying to build ours on carbon capture. He don't talk about any of those sources, and they claiming what comes from carbon capture. And by the way, I'm supposed to have Interior Secretary, what's his name? I can't remember his name right off the top of my head. But anyway, they sent in Trump's guy at me to talk about carbon capture. So we're probably going to have him on this week.
Okay.
And I'm looking forward to it because he don't mention any of this in his release. He only mentions the reliable, not the renewable. And I think that's interesting.
So when it comes to carbon capture, the usage is the least of the equation. It's the capture and sequestration. It's pulling it out of the air that I understand is the trade-off there, as it were.
Well, don't you think if that was the future, solar, windmills,
Oh, no.
solar farms,
Solar lacks
carbon capture,
efficiency.
don't you think that would be mentioned, even brought up?
What, the carbon or the solar?
All of it. Because this is the White House's declaring a national energy emergency, and they never mention those other things.
Yeah, I don't think they're looking at carbon as an energy source within itself. The same way, like, yeah, the carbon capture is a trade-off for creating more energy, not the source itself.
They don't mention hydrogen at all. Not one thing about hydrogen. The hydrogen is
that's it. That part's very interesting because, as I understood it, that was really supposed to be on the rise. Aside from the Green New Deal, like that was supposed to be on the rise on its own.
The thing about hydrogen, it takes natural gas, oil, and coal to make it. And that's what's funny. You're going to have to use all that stuff to make this so-called clean energy.
Exactly.
So I just think it's interesting. That's all.
Last thing before we get you out of here, because we already blew past ABC News. Is Notre Dame a bunch of crybabies?
Yeah, in a way, because, I watched Alabama, Ole Miss, and South Carolina, who were all playing really well last year, didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
They got to do something about, Tulane and James Madison had nice years. But come on, man. You put Miami, Notre Dame in there and put Vanderbilt in there. Don't you think it's a better field? Not cutting Tulane, I'm just saying, don't you think it's a better 12?
The way they have it built to have somebody from the G6, I give the nod to Tulane. James Madison's questionable coming from the Sun Belt, but yes, I agree.
I gave Tulane too. I'm gonna agree with you on that.
Yeah,
I'm not arguing with that. I'm just saying if you want the 12 best, you can put that in there, put them two in there, and I think you'd have a better field. That's all. It's not a cut on Tulane. So Louisiana school. I'm happy for that.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Notre Dame is though, like being a conference, so you could be a conference champion. You want to run this independent route, then you're going to be left out as an independent as well.
Here's the big question for you. Okay, so Notre Dame said we're taking our ball, we're going home, we're not going to a bowl. Right. You know how much TV money? Who loves the bowls? It steals TV programming for a month. You know how much TV money is put into college sports and college football?
Oh, yeah.
You mean to tell me you're going to flip off your biggest money revenue source, which is TV money, and tell people you're not going to play in the bowls? Wow, I want to see this work.
See, that's why it appears like a tantrum. Is because you know what? You didn't make the cut. Well, first of all, buy yourself 2 weeks worth of practice to make the cut next year. Secondly, you want to walk down this path where you don't have to play by anybody else's rules, and then you're going to throw a tantrum when the rules don't work in your favor.
The argument about Alabama, let me just make a case, not necessarily for Alabama, but I'll make it this way. If LSU was 10-2 and played in the SEC championship game and lost, everybody that was an LSU fan would say that's not fair. They had to play an extra game. But since Alabama is not well liked here,
right?
They say, Alabama should have played. But if it had been LSU, you would make the argument you want LSU to play.
100%.
So I think the Alabama thing is not even important to the.
I'm with you.
And by the way, I'm not for or against them. I'm just telling you, I don't think it's important to the conversation.
He's Moon Griffon. You catch him live 9 to 11 right here on Talk 107.3 FM. Call me after the show. We'll make sure you're taken care of tomorrow. Okay.
Oh, thank you, sir. Appreciate it, Brian.
Likewise. Blew right past ABC News. Here's local news, traffic, weather. George Bell's next. Yo! So are we talking specifically about the concert, or did you want to cover some other stuff too? Yeah. Just because, tis the season.
Yeah.
So.
Represent.
Yeah.
Man, that line you had earlier in the news.
Oh. About you being the entertainment?
Oh, man, I said, he's on, boy.
I enjoy doing that because it takes everything I got to be serious about over here, and I can be a little more fun with it over there. Thank you. I try to go a little, like SNL's Weekend Update.
Exactly. That's what it reminds me of. Yeah, I appreciate this.
Of course. caught the tail end of it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So it was Friday night late.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And wife had long since fallen asleep, and I was, ran on a Family Feud episode.
Oh yeah.
So I'm scrolling through, and when I say I caught the tail end, I caught This Christmas,
Okay,
which was the closer. Yeah. So.
But I tell you, that was so cool. I had no idea that I'd be doing. Well, first of all, doing these concerts for so long.
Right.
I've been doing them since 2011.
Yeah.
And then it's just, I was in Thibodeau last night. We did one in Thibodeau, which is where I'm from.
Okay.
Yeah. We've been doing.
Hey, I didn't know you were from Thibodeau.
2014. Oh, are you? Okay, homegirl. Yeah. Terrebonne?
Yep, Terrebonne here, up the bayou, Bayou Black.
No, I mean, what school?
Oh, Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt. Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah. Well, it's a great area. Okay. All right. Nice.
That's where Cade went.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah.
So we'll do a little United Way, a little bit about the concert, and then probably squeeze 2 songs out of you if we can.
Well, whatever.
All right.
Whatever. Yeah. Have horn, we'll play.
Yeah.
Well, I also enjoyed your discussion about the Catholic Diocese letter, and
I don't know why the Catholic Church is the only church that's not allowed to be political. Every individual, because it's a universal church. We're not like if we woke up tomorrow and there was no America, there would still be a Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say that about a number of other different denominations. You can't say that about the mega churches.
Would have never went there.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Not that I'm being wrong,
but everyone else gets to pick and choose where they want to have something to say. The Catholic Church says something, and it's always going to be a problem. So I do take offense as a Catholic to there being pushback on something like that, because it's like, then ignore them. I mean, if
it's living the values that they espouse, and
that's where it gets to be different, is when you talk about, like, we have to remember that there are things of the world that are not of the nation.
Right.
And when you talk about Christ wanting to spread his message around the world, borders on a religious sense don't matter, because we're talking about the next life, not this one.
Humanity.
So,
yeah.
$8:38 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. It is about that time, y'all. It's that time of year. Holiday time, Christmas time is with us. We got George Bell from the Capital Area United Way, and the George Bell and Friends concert is it's out. It's on TV.
Yeah.
That's moving up in the world, my man.
Yeah, that was a pleasant surprise for me to be asked to do a LPB, Louisiana Public Broadcasting version of my show, and we worked it out. CC Copeland, who's a Rotary member, asked me about doing a show, a live taping of it, which we did on November 9th. And
wait, that was back on November 9th?
Yeah, that was November 9th. And
wow.
We taped it, had a special showing, and in front of a live audience. And kind of early, but we brought the field.
If you want to get it packaged for television, it's the trade-off, right?
Exactly. So we did about 2 hours of music, and they did a wonderful job editing it down to less than 1 hour.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So full disclosure, I caught the last song. I'm bumping around, flipping through stations the other night, and I hopped on board exactly as y'all were at your last song. So I need to catch it. I need to catch it to the replay so I can see the full thing.
Yeah, I think it'll be aired a few more times this season before the end of the year. But it was a wonderful experience, and I am grateful to have something that documents just how special this time of year is, and how special that performance has been over the years for me.
Well, and this transcends not just the music, but what you do for a living. We're going to talk about that in a minute as well.
Exactly.
But I do want to stick with the music and the performance, because this is something that, and you brought your horn in today, so
oh yeah,
we're gonna get a little out of you today for sure.
Yeah.
But when it comes around to this time of year, it brings something out in all of us, and I think music really opens up our hearts a lot more than anything in the headlines, anything that we read about, see on TV or whatever. When it comes to just holiday music, Christmas music, it opens everybody up.
And Brian, what I've learned from doing this is it brings people together, and all walks of life. I have young and old. I have a doctor friend of mine that invites his entire family, kids, grandkids. I mean, he 15 tickets he gets to the show, and I love that. I love the fact that families can come together, enjoy a moment, and think about that. I mean, how many 3-generation groups can get together and do something like this and enjoy it?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
And there are very few things that, like music and food, probably the only two, which is why it's so great to be from Louisiana.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing I love is the talent that I get to showcase.
Okay, let's talk about the and friends.
Yeah,
because
that's what it's all about.
You've got some friends that have got some game.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. And the way this started was I was asked to, when I worked for a hospital here in town, I was asked to put together a show that something that we could do for our donors, and the donors would get to attend, free of charge, and just was a thank you. And they gave me a budget, and I went out and got the baddest cats I could find. So I got guys like Herman Jackson, Harry Anderson. Herman used to play with B.B. King for like 16, 17 years. Harry was at that time, was the director of the Alvin Baptiste Jazz Institute at Southern. I got a guy that used to play with Paul McCartney. He was my, so I knew all these musicians and pulled them together, and it just was magical. We did one rehearsal, and that concert turned out real well. It was done in 2011. Then we were asked to do it again, and likewise, that was a good outing as well. And then it just took off. So I've been doing them since then, and the holiday jazz concert has been the most popular, for obvious reasons. Yeah. People love Christmas, love the Christmas music, and we try and do it some traditional, but with a jazzy twist to it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's what makes it special in Louisiana, for sure.
Exactly.
We got George Bell with us. I want to pivot over and talk about your day job for a minute. We'll get back around to music. You brought your horns. We'll get back around to music in just a minute.
Yeah.
But let's talk about what's going on with Capillary United Way. You were the Rotary speaker last week. Gave a fantastic presentation.
Thank you.
Very
Brian.
eye-opening presentation about and I'm not going to remember what ALICE stood for, but it means working poor.
And you got the gist of it.
Yeah.
So ALICE is an acronym that stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, but Employed.
Yes.
So when you think about it, there are people that go to work day in and day out. They are they're our neighbors. They are church members. They're people that we engage on a regular basis. But if you look at where they are and how vulnerable they are to being able to cover their basic living expenses, they're the ones that one missed paycheck, one sick child, one flat tire, or car repair can throw them into a downward spiral, and many of them can end up in poverty if something like that were to happen.
One of my bigger takeaways, and this wasn't, I don't think it was brought up with the question and answer part in the end, but one of my bigger takeaways was I feel like it's not so much a lack of resources, but a lack of education on how to utilize resources. It's like we have plenty of help out there.
Yeah.
But like not everybody knows how to balance a checkbook and create their own budget in the home. Because if you say, you're one bad decision away from being poor, well, how did you get there? Like, can we backtrack a little bit and start to rebuild? Those are the types of resources that I think are so much. They're every bit as valuable as the actual dollars.
Yeah. So it's not always what you make. It's what you spend and how you spend it and the discipline that you have living within your means.
Right.
But I will say there are folks who are working, and sometimes they have to work 2 jobs
no.
just to make ends meet.
I'm with you.
So that's real.
No, it is.
But there, and that's where 211 comes in too. The 211 24-hour helpline can help connect people to resources that they may have a need for, and it's local resources.
Right.
They're sourced in our area, and my team actually keeps track of those resources. There are over 1,000 resources in that database, and it's important that people know that they can call that number, that 211 number, and be connected to resources and actually talk to a person,
which is unbelievably valuable.
Yeah.
Because look, whether you're talking about financial planning, whether you're talking about losing weight, whether you're talking about saving for retirement, having a coach in life, having a coach to help you out in an area where it takes a little bit of sucking up of the pride.
Yeah.
But having a coach that can help get you over the hump to where if you call 211 today, let's start working towards where you don't have to call 211 in 6 months.
Exactly.
Exactly.
But they're there if you need to.
And that's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point.
In a non-judgmental way too. It's not to cast blame or any way to discredit what you may have done. It's just to make sure that you get the information you need.
1,000 and the help, the information and the help that you need. And the non-judgmental part of that, I think, is a big part of it, because when you get past that hump, that doesn't hurt the pride as much.
Exactly.
So, and let's remember that oftentimes we're talking about the pride of an adult, but the effects that it affects a child.
Oh yeah.
And
the whole family unit.
Right. It's that Venn diagram right there that we want to see everybody succeed. Everybody have, a warm place to sleep and hot food to eat, and having all of it come together.
Brian, that's why we exist. We mobilize community resources to help every person in our community thrive. That's what we live by.
And how's business?
Business has been good. We've turned 100 years old.
Wow.
The Capital Area United Way has existed for 100 years in this community. That happened September, the month of September. But we're going to celebrate it all year long.
Okay, so we're in that pool coming January.
Mm-hmm.
Guarantee turns 100.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
January of next year, we'll be in that Century
Happy
Club
birthday.
with you. Absolutely.
Happy birthday.
And likewise as well.
Yeah.
We got a couple minutes till we hit break here. George Bell from the Capital Area United Way is with us, but right now he's George Bell and friends. Got the trumpet with you today. Can you take us into break with a song or two?
I would be honored to.
Do you want to go with something that's on the set list from the special, or something outside of that?
Let's see. I'll just do something that is festive. Right now, I don't know what the lineup of songs is going to be.
Okay.
I have an idea, but we're going to finalize that. But it's always, we always pull out some wonderful selections for folks. So.
All right, well, take us into break, and then we'll take a quick break after that for Your Money Now in Traffic, and we'll come back. We got George Bell in the house. Your Money Now is coming up in just a little bit. That's on me. I mistimed it. I didn't back time it right, George. Your Money Now is coming up in under a minute from right now. Can you stick around on the back end of the break? We'll talk a little bit more about music and whatnot. As for right now, though, I do need to remind you about the folks over at Neurojust. Neurojust.com is the website. Neurojust. Neurojust.com. The holidays can be a trigger for anxiety and depression. And if you or someone you love is suffering from anxiety or depression and has been treatment resistant, maybe the antidepressants aren't working, you don't like the prescription pills, you don't like the way they make you feel, give TMS therapy a look. Transcranial magnetic stimulation. FDA approved, non-invasive, no side effects. Learn more at neurojust.com. Sorry, I forgot about the live reading there, man. Forgot about paying the bills. So are there more shows?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are 2 here in Baton Rouge at the Manship Theater, and there's one in Gonzales.
Okay.
At the Pace Center.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll hit those up
The
on
following
the web
week.
again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I do have one more live read to kill off. So
Are you on Facebook, George?
I am.
Can I tag you?
Yes, you can. Yeah.
I'm gonna post a little clip of that video on Talk Space.
Yeah, I'm George Bell, and then I also have a George Bell and Friends. Great. Thank you.
Oh,
and I trust you got a good level. I didn't know.
No, it sounded great.
Yeah.
Through the headphones, it sounded great.
I didn't have to move you down at all.
Really? Okay. All right.
I guess because you weren't right in the mic.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's why I was a little off there. Not directly in. So that's your timekeeper right there. I mean,
Yeah.
I know everything is to the second.
So it's supposed to come up on here, but I think we hit some kind of bug and it triggered all the security. So I'm gonna have to go back in and fix that later on.
Okay. All right. You find that your internal clock is pretty spot on. I mean, a 30-second spot, you can nail it. Yeah.
30s and 60s, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you can.
My 60s tend to go over by a little bit, unless I'm actually looking at the clock. But if I'm winging it, I'll nail a 30 all day long. I do a 30-second promo for the show every single day.
Okay, all right. So you
without fail, it's 28.5.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
I know.
It's just
yeah,
that meter. That is so cool. So, Brian, one of the other things I love doing is I love bringing on new talent.
Mm-hmm.
And this year I have a young lady. She just graduated from Baton Rouge High School. I've been following her since her sophomore year. And she's just, you'll see on the video when you see it, when you watch it, she's the second act, just nails it. I mean, she sings way beyond her years of maturity, and then the other one is a high school senior at Zachary High School, saxophonist.
Oh wow! Okay,
yeah, real good.
And we find every day there's fewer and fewer outlets to nurture that growth,
and that's it.
We don't have a farm system,
Yep. So I've and every year I've featured, young talent.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying more George.
Yeah. Byron says this guy's a gym. Get him on more often. Play another. Oh, Haggai put up the teaser for the show. He put up the YouTube link for the teaser.
Oh wow!
So, good on you, Haggai.
Yeah. So when you're taking off, you're gonna be taking some time off.
So,
I heard you talking about.
I did the math on it.
80 hours.
If I left last Wednesday
Yeah.
and just didn't come back till January 2nd,
you'd still have 80
I'd
hours.
have 80 hours left over. As it stands right now, I'm going to leave 200 hours on the table.
Oh goodness! And you're use it or lose it.
I can roll 2 weeks over. I can roll.
Okay,
I can roll
that's
80
like
hours over to next year.
That's it. Yeah.
2 weeks worth. Yeah.
2 weeks. Yeah.
But
that's
I didn't think about. I didn't take a real vacation this year. We did the RV trip thing, which was super duper fun.
Yeah.
But it was. I was working the whole time, but I took vacation days to do it. But that was like a Friday and a Monday.
Wow. Yeah.
And then the way the holidays play out.
Yeah, you don't have to
I only have to take off the 29th and 30th.
Yeah.
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 So.
Is that Haggai?
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, Haggai's taking a day, and Dixon McMakin's going to take a day.
Okay.
But right now, I'm looking at maybe back timing it and taking the day before Christmas Eve off, too.
Yeah.
So I got him to burn.
Yeah.
So.
Well, things kind of slow down, so.
Yeah.
I'm the same way.
.855 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. One segment to go here on Mornings with Brian Howley. Before we hand it off to Moon Griffon, let me tell you about Vex European, VEX. VexEuropean.com is the website. If you drive a European vehicle, Mercedes, BMW, Porsche, Audi, Land Rover. In fact, if you visit VexEuropean.com, hit the vehicles tab, you'll see the full list of what they service right there. And it's important that you're making vehicles on that list because that's how you know if you're getting expert level service. They specialize in European vehicles, and they specialize down to a certain list of makes of European vehicles. So if you have a Mercedes, you get a Mercedes tech, an expert level tech who probably should be running his own shop. But Vinny's got himself an all-star team over there. Learn more at VexEuropean.com. They're located on Benefit Drive. That's kind of the back half of Industriplex. I've been using them. Keeps my 18-year-old car humming like it's brand new. VEX, V as in Vinny, VexEuropean.com. George Bell is in with us for one more segment here before we hand off to Moon Griffon and the Moon Griffon Show. Before we get one more song out of you, George, I want to ask about the upcoming shows. You got
Certainly
3 to go here.
Yeah, so I have 2 shows, Friday and Saturday. That's December 12th and 13th at the Manship Theater.
Mm-hmm.
So the beautiful Manship Theater. And these will be shows that will feature vocalist Kiana Linnell. If you have not heard Kiana Linnell, you owe yourself the opportunity to do so. She is the 2017 winner of the International Sarah Vaughan Vocalist Contest. And she is right here in the Baton Rouge area. She sings everywhere. I mean,
okay.
She tours, but she has been my number one singer for the last, I don't know, since 2014.
So, I only caught the last song of the special.
Yeah.
Was she red dress or green dress?
She was red dress.
She was red dress.
Yeah. She's the real deal.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she's the real deal. And then I have a friend of mine that I used to, he and I were in the praise ministry at church, and he moved to California. He's from Gonzales. He moved to California. His name is Kirk Andres Wilson.
Okay.
He uses all 3 names. He's been in California almost 15 years now, and he is an excellent singer, recording artist. He's going to be here for the Friday and Saturday shows as well.
Okay.
So it's quite a lineup.
And then outside of Friday and Saturday Manship, you got one you taking out to Gonzales.
Yeah, in Gonzales at the Pace, the newly built Pace Center there. It's a beautiful facility, and
it's awesome. But I haven't heard a concert there yet.
Yeah, yeah. I was the first concert.
Okay,
believe it or not. And then so this is the 3rd time that I'll be performing there, and that's going to be on the 20th, Saturday, the December 20th, and I'll have Justin Garner, the vocalist from the area who sings everywhere as well. He did the national anthem at the Bayou Classic.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so he's quite accomplished as well.
Very good. Where can folks go to get tickets?
For the Manship Theater, it is manshiptheater.org.
Okay.
That's manshiptheater.org.
Manshiptheater.org. Yeah. Go to, and then from there is just # shows, and then you'll see the full list of shows once you get there. Right. What about for the Pace Center?
You know, I'm not quite sure. I think they have a ticket office or something, but check Pace Center, and they may have something on their site.
All right. While I'm doing that, we'll put the link on there where we post this on demand.
Great.
Later on, I'll put the link up there to make sure it's included. In the meanwhile, we got less than a minute to go. Can you play us out?
Certainly. And right. I need to mention that my premier sponsor for that concert is the Wealth Collective.
The Wealth Collective.
Yeah.
All right. Good to know. Here we go. George Bell on the way out.